This is Steve Asheim from Deicide. You're listening to the FANTASM Podcast.
FANTASM. This is Philip H. Anselmo.
Hi, this is from Creator.
Chambry, Vestron, Napalm Death.
This is Alex from Prison. This is Max Gillespie from Prison.
This is Lee from Monstrosity.
Hey, this is Chris from Cryptopsy.
Hey, this is Matt from Cryptopsy.
This is Will from Cryptopsy. Rush Dolan from Immolation.
Name is Kim Horry.
This is Ben from Goat Whore.
Sammy Dewey from Goat Whore.
This is Martin Badruno from Aspect. And you're listening to
FANTASM Podcast.
Hey, this is Chris Barnes from 6 Feet Under. You're listening to Corey Gorechrist and Dr. Vincent West on the Phantasm Podcast.
This is Frank from Suffocation. The Phantasm Podcast goes down fucking smooth.
What the fuck is up, and welcome to the Phantasm Podcast. I'm Corey Gorechrist. With me, Dr. Vincent West.
Hi.
And we got Steve Asheim from Deicide on the show. They're currently on tour. Go check them out.
We tour in Brazil in August.
Yeah, Brazil in August. So he's got a ton of stuff coming up. Deicide. Doctor will talk to you about his show experience over there and the film we got for them today.
Waxworks from 1988.
It's 11:45. Let's go.
Imagine, if you will, an exhibit in fear.
It looks a little spooky, boys. You think we should do this?
A place that appeals to your deepest and darkest fantasies.
Ooh, scary.
Your fascination with ghosts, monsters, and the many unearthly elements of the supernatural.
Welcome to the Waxwork.
Look.
And this is killer.
Enjoy.
Wow, the glasses from Nutty Zombies from Hell.
Lose yourself in it.
Do you like a closer look?
Really?
But whatever you do, don't step over the rope.
Welcome, my dear. We thought you were too tired to join us.
All right, I'm hypnotized.
Hey, not so fast.
Relax. Put on a cup of coffee. We'll talk about it.
I want out of here, Sarah. I'm serious.
Getting scared?
Do I get a pretty woman in my illusion? No. No, I get a dork.
It isn't real.
Bravo!
What the hell did you kill him for? He'd have been perfect.
Live, my children. Live.
Hit me! We still need 2 more!
Vestron Pictures welcomes you into a new dimension in terror. Waxwork.
I love this movie.
It's a Vestron Collector's Series Blu-ray. Just came out about a year ago now. Guys on Fire. This shit's already going straight now.
This movie's about 6 months old.
Yeah, 6 months? Yeah. So half a year old. One of the first things they put out. Well, they had the 2-pack, too. Is that what this is from? Waxwork and Waxwork 2, yeah. A guy's already, his head's on fire and he's in a furnace burning alive, so that's how this fucking movie starts. It's pretty awesome.
And the guy that directed this directed Hellraiser 3.
Awesome.
Pretty sure it's the same dude.
Zach Galligan, as you see on the screen, who's from Gremlins, famously.
David Warner's in this.
David Warner's from Final Frontier. Fucking
Time After Time.
The
one
Omen.
Of my favorite movies.
The
Omen.
Omen.
Yeah, David Warner rules.
Yeah, so there's that. I've actually never seen this one. I've seen Lost in Time, the sequel to this. And there's John Rhys Davies, who is in Indiana Jones.
And Sliders, if you guys like nerdy television like me.
Yeah, and if you like BK Sliders. Or he was also Gimli in Lord of the Rings, which I watched the other day for the first time in forever. So, love the blood, the logo that bleeds. It's really nice. The house is very creepy. If you guys are watching at home, we're at 2 minutes and 9 seconds right now. So if you guys follow along, thank you to everyone that's liked our page. We're over 1,000 likes now. Can't thank you guys enough. This is only going to get bigger and better for all of us. you know, the more we do, the Doctor's been slaving away and doing all his work. I mean, he's been just show to show to show. He's been practically on tour with these bands. I mean, with what he's been doing. It's the last 2 months. I mean, he's been. If someone calls the Doctor, he's been booked. I'm like, no, we don't have anything available for the next 2 months because he's out of town.
Well, you know, and to explain that, we had so much stuff.
A lot of stuff, like near our area, you know, we try to catch a lot of media, you know, for you guys. But I mean, we got so much good stuff coming to you guys, and we got so much stuff that we can't really talk about yet. That's in the works. That's pretty much confirmed for us that we're going to be doing for you guys. So I mean, we try to keep ourselves busy, try to keep the content awesome for you guys. You know, the Doctor's got the library for the films. You never have to worry about any of that.
Got that.
And I think at this point, you know, you never have to worry about the guests either. We always got something cooking for you guys, and we try to stay moving. And you know, we've had a lot of repeat offenders that are awesome. You know, thanks to Tobias and to Ken Foray and to Alex Krizian and Terrence from Suffocation. I mean, you know, it's awesome to have anybody back on. You know, it's always a pleasure talking to all those guys. So, looking to see them again real soon. You know, as soon as possible. So yeah, Doctor's been working really hard to keep this train going, and if you guys have the time, thank him on the page or wherever you can. And he's been the glue for this podcast for a while now, since I've been transitioning jobs and doing all my human stuff. So
you've got a lot of stuff going on. I don't think people realize, and it takes, you know, when we initially started doing this, you did so much.
I was sitting pretty
and I felt
comfortably.
like I needed to up my game and do that, and you would have done it if the situation had been reversed. So, and that's the only way we can do it. And I want to kind of interview you a minute, if it's cool.
Okay.
For everybody out there, I want to have you talk to us, and we'll go into this too, and kind of plug this for the folks there that have been so kind to reach their hands up to you with this, and talk a little bit about the convention you're getting ready to go to.
Well, if you guys are listening to the Ken Foray interview, you know that I'm going to be going to Days of the Dead in Indianapolis in a couple weeks now. It's June 30th through the July 2nd, which is my birthday, so the last day of the convention. Yeah, thank you. The last day of the convention's on my birthday, and I love David Warner, and he looks like fucking Willy Wonka. That's awesome. I already love this movie.
I mean, this
really
movie
nice.
looks like a porno.
Sorry, yeah, the scenery's really nice. The actresses look like all the porn stars, and then David Warner just looks pimp. So, but anyway, he looks like a Scooby-Doo villain. It's awesome though. I love it. It's campy. It's nice. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Me and Miss Gorechrist are going to be there. Ken Foray, first time actually meeting him in person, so that's going to be a blast. You know, he's looking forward to seeing me, and I'm looking forward to thanking him in person for everything he's done, being such a humble guest, and just a fun guy to talk to. So if you guys get a chance, go listen to that, and that'll give you more of an idea of what the whole thing's about and what we're both doing there. There's a Dawn of the Dead cast reunion. Scott Reiniger and Kevin MG and George Romero will be there, and Ken, of course, and
3 Jasons, which impresses me.
Yeah, Galen Ross will be there.
That's a lot of Jasons in one.
Yeah, Kane Hodder just got announced, and Steve Dash from Part 2, and or famously known as Potato Sack Jason, and CJ Graham, who I met months back in Atlanta in February, and he was super nice, and that's my favorite Jason, so I've already crossed that milestone.
Is Kane doing dress-up stuff, too?
I wish. He was kind of like a last-minute thing. He has been doing Part 7 photo ops here and there, but that's only one John.
See, I'd want a Part 8 photo op.
I would too. But John Carl Buechler's gonna, whenever he's there, he does the fucking, he puts that shit on.
Let me ask you this. This is on subject with this too, and plus I put it on the page. Did you see my Love Boat thing of him from Part 8?
Yeah, that's funny. That's awesome.
I don't know where I found that. I was like up at like 4 a.m.
From Part 8, he was also on Arsenio Hall's show as Jason.
Amazing.
And they tried interviewing him, and he was just sitting there in the garb or whatever, and just went.
It's amazing.
It's hysterical.
Well,
that's how big horror was.
But do you know how that happened?
I like all the Nazi stuff. This is a perfect time for all this shit.
Arsenio was a huge fan of the series.
Yeah,
that's how they got him on there to do that.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I was thinking about it the other day, honestly. I was like... And I think I posted something about it on the page, or my personal page, I don't remember, but it's basically stating that, horror really is in the backseat right now with the media and with entertainment. It's just not... It's more of an underground thing now. It got kicked back to...
That's where it needs to be.
It got kicked back to an underground thing. Well, at the same time, it used to be so huge, where if you put out a horror movie, you know it's going to do well. Now they have to... comb the market and really only put out horror movies that are going to make money based on demographic and based on similar themes. Like, if it's a ghost movie. Yeah, if it's a ghost movie, then it's going to come out.
No, but listen, but
that 40 meters down or whatever, that's awesome. Like Sharks, that needs to still be a thing.
Here's the thing.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, here's the problem with that 40 meters down. This is why I don't want to see that. PG-13, I have no interest.
Really? It's PG-13?
It is.
That's what they have to do, though. That's what I'm saying.
Well, to get kids in there, but my whole thing
is... The market has gone... The market's mainly targeting teenagers.
The whole thing with it is, though, is this, like... Hollywood tries. That Mummy movie with Tom Cruise, I haven't seen it. It is a commercial failure. It is completely bombed.
Yeah, but that's like a CGI...
No, but do you have any idea how bad it's bombed? Like, apparently...
Oh, it's awful.
No, I want to talk about how bad it's bombed. It's literally about to go to the dollar movie.
It made like $20 million, and that's like a $50 million budget movie or something.
Oh, it's more than that. It was like a $150 million budget. It had a huge budget. It's got
Russell
Crowe and
Tom Cruise
and all this stuff. And I mean, I don't know if the movie's bad or not. I haven't seen it, but it's.
And look,
people wanted Brendan Fraser. It's not.
It's not that kind of mummy movie, though.
Oh, yeah, it is.
They're supposed to
it's
be.
Supposed to be. They
not
were
in that universe.
Well, what they were trying.
I thought they were doing the actual mummy, like.
No, because it's a girl.
That's what I'm saying. And look, I'm not sexist or anything, and I like female leads when it's appropriate, but for that, nobody wants to see a female lead.
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing just shot itself. What they tried to do, and you can read about this online.
She didn't even look like a mummy. She just looked
but here's the thing.
But
you can look at it enough to see that they tried to reboot the Brendan Fraser style mummy thing. And
you can't do it without Brendan Fraser.
No, it didn't work. And you can't do it without that dude that played the mummy, too.
Yeah, the guy that played Imhotep was awesome.
Yes.
And
he was Darkman when Liam Neeson stepped down.
Yeah. And that's cool.
It is.
I can't think of his He's in a lot of other shit, but I know Oded Fehr was in those films.
He's in the G.I. Joe movies too.
Yeah.
He's Zartan.
Deathstroke. Yeah.
Is he Deathstroke or is he Zartan?
He's Deathstroke.
No, he's Zartan.
Is he? Okay.
He's Zartan.
Either way,
doesn't matter.
Got a G.I. Joe debate. No, but Oded Fehr was in those movies. They were more, and once Tomb of the Dragon Emperor came out, everybody lost interest in the mummy. Anyway.
Well, see, this thing has made less money than that.
That's bad.
But my point being was, I think you can't. But see, I think horror does still do well because that movie that you and Mrs. Gorecrust were telling me about, I finally went and watched.
Which one?
Is it Get Out? Is that it?
Get Out, yeah.
It's great.
That's more of like, you liked it?
Yeah,
I thought it was crazy. I did not see any of it coming.
It's nuts, but
like
what I'm saying though,
that's more of like a thriller.
It is, but it's still
horror based.
It still preys on that,
and there's actually some gore in it,
and it made money. And
Jordan Peele made that, and that's established himself as not only
that Rings 3. That thing made money. I mean, some of these things make money.
Like I'm saying, if they're a part of
that,
like a
what was that other thing that I saw? Another movie I watched last year that I liked.
It's
the guys that did it's the guys that did the Conjuring thing. Did it? It's Lights Out. Great movie.
Yeah,
love that movie. It's a good movie. It's for what it is. People have their playlists, and it's like, oh, you've lost your mind, West. It's like, no, it's actually pretty.
I guess I'm more talking about like, slashers and stuff.
It's gone.
You can't really make them like they were anymore.
Well, you can. It's a maybe you and I need to do that. I don't know, but all I know is
like
there's a market for it.
The last good slasher that came out that was new was like the Hatchet films because it was more or less a throwback, but at least they tried to make like a newer. They tried to ensemble it, which it worked, and they tried to make it into some new story and not just borrow stuff. But it was that those films were at least like over the top gory.
The 09 Friday the 13th is great. Mm-hmm. That Texas Chainsaw 3D thing I liked.
Yeah, that was okay.
I like it. It was on El Rey the other night, and I
saw it in 3D. It was a trip.
But I mean, it's not that bad. But my whole point is like, yeah, but that's kind of just like horror's heyday. You know what I mean? Like the slasher heyday was like the end of it. Was like Friday the 13th Part 8 because after that, like, I mean, I'm going to be honest with everybody out there. I've tried to sit through Jason Goes to Hell. That movie's horrible.
It's bad, yeah. Well, it's not Jason. He
it's
dies
just
in the
bad.
beginning.
It is gory.
Yeah,
it's very gory.
But, you know, I don't want to see other people as Jason and then his sister, and it's all this cult bullshit. I don't know. I mean, I get the idea, and there's not much else you can do. And I saw Jason X in theaters, and God, that movie's bad. That's worse than Jason Goes to Hell. But at least it's Jason killing people, and it's, Kane Hodder or whatever. But, I mean, things pop out here and there, like, Green Inferno was good. The Conjuring movies are great. The Annabelle 2 is about to come out, and but
you're not going to get, and I'm in full agreement with you. You're not going to get what you had like when The Exorcist was released.
No. Everything's also been done. The '80s was horror films and all the campiness,
and you could get away with that movie stuff. That I didn't know. I've been on an Exorcist kick lately, but I watched a documentary. There's a million of them on those Blu-rays. You guys out there listening at home, if you own the Blu-rays or even the DVDs, a lot of these things are just flowing with stuff to watch. But what I was going to tell you is it's pretty amazing to me. 9 people died making that film.
Oh yeah, it's nuts. The conspiracy stuff.
There was a fire that they still can't explain that happened on the set when nobody was there.
That looks like my old boss. Sorry.
You're fine.
At the sub shop, look.
That's really funny.
Now they're in the Waxworks. That was Hans in the film. It's Mihaly Mazaros. Who actually died last year. So it's the anniversary. It's a 1-year anniversary of her death. Isn't that fucking crazy? Wow.
Today?
Well, it was yesterday.
It's still weird.
June 13th, 2016. Michu, who played Hans, that's the. Wow. That's insane. Yeah, he died a year ago.
I mean,
yesterday.
My whole thing is this: is like
76,
and then we'll get back to me talking about the convention. But I want to just say that people would rather watch reality crap than watch fantasy-based anything. It seems like anymore.
Well, unless it's comic book shit, then people go.
Well,
watch
but
that.
even that stuff, depending on what it is, people are so finicky and picky about it. Like Wonder Woman, everybody made this big deal about it, and I went and saw it, and I really liked it.
I've seen mostly positive stuff about that.
It's a good movie, but here's the whole thing with that. I don't really give a damn about that character.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I'm not a female. I'm just not interested in that character. But it is a good film, and I liked it. I'll buy it. I liked it. I thought it was a really good movie. Kong. I went and saw Kong again last night. What a great movie. What a fantastic monster movie. Really like it. Here's the deal, though. All these people watching it, there's stuff at the end credit scenes and stuff. Here's the reality. Here, I'm just telling everybody out there that likes King Kong, and I like him. You're not going to beat Godzilla. He'll whip your ass. He'll whip your monkey ass back to the jungle. That's the reality of it. It ain't going to be welcome to the jungle. It's going to back to the jungle, and then Godzilla's just going to fucking fuck you up. That's the whole deal with that. There's these fucking hicks last night trying to fucking run their yapper during that. I'm like, you're not beating Godzilla. But
Kane Hodder actually did stunt work in this film, which is crazy.
He did?
Mm-hmm. It's in the Frankenstein's monster scene. I think it's cool. I like the old House of Wax stuff, and this is kind of like a 80s version of that before they made that 2000s remake of House of Wax. So this was kind of what you got from the 80s of it. And there's actually in the script to this, getting this from IMDb, it said that in the script there was a scene, when they're looking at all this stuff in these displays, of Friday the 13th scene from the the original Friday the 13th, and someone looks at it and they said, hey, that looks like the Jason mask, and then one of them says something like, that's it's like somebody did display of the Jason killings, so they actually like kind of put this in like it was real, the Friday the 13th murders, and they was never
in this
actually,
film?
it wasn't in the film, it was in the script, but I guess they didn't use it.
Okay.
It says, in the shooting script, Jonathan is staring at an exhibit of Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. When Jonathan tells Lincoln about it, it looked like the same Jason mask from the movies. Mr. Lincoln asked Jonathan, they made a movie about the Jason killings? And then they said, there's no Jason Voorhees display. And Jonathan instead stares at an exhibit of Phantom of the Opera. So, there's that. And they had the Invisible Man, that was cool.
This movie's amazing. But let's go back to the convention a second. So now, when and I've talked to you about going to conventions before, but having this pass, what are you planning on running around doing with it? Anything special? Or?
This is where John Ryan Davies shows up, I think, here in a second. I don't know. I've never had this kind of, I've always just gone as an attendee. This is my first year doing. I did work I was a vendor at a convention before, but I've never done press work for a convention. So this is going to be a very interesting experience for me, and I'm hoping to, maybe at least talk to a few guests and get a little up close and personal and see what I can get out of it. Definitely do some
maybe
footage.
a Jason roundtable to look forward to. Maybe?
I mean, that would be fantastic. But, we'll see what I can get done.
I mean, who knows? I mean, you never know. I mean, my guess, and I want to keep kind of interviewing you here for a second, if that's cool, for a few minutes. Because I'm curious. I think people out there be curious about you do, because this is like your forte, man. You do this for. I don't go to these things. You do. I've made it open on our page that I don't go to this stuff, and it's not. I'm not saying, hey, y'all shouldn't go. I'm just saying I have like a lot of anxiety, and I just don't.
Yeah, you don't like crowds and people.
Well, I'm weird about it, and if I'm not doing interviews at shows, man, I'm spoiled now. I got the photo pass. I'm gonna go chill, and it's great for me. I can go relax and
folks, the doctor's very secretive. He's just like any doctor you'd expect, where he's got a lot of shit to hide, and he's just kind of, behind closed doors is where he likes to be.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of weird, but I want to ask you. I mean, aside from these people having handlers, you can probably just go approach them for this stuff, can't you?
There's John Ryan Davies right there, big motherfucker. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to approach them at their table and stuff like that, but I guess.
No, but I mean, if you are in like a green room or something,
I feel like there is a press room. Because they only give passes out to certain, so they only have so many and they give them out. And, Adolfo is a great dude, and I can't thank him enough for doing this for me. And
maybe hang out with him, maybe get a little interview.
Yeah, I mean,
you should get it. Does he run the whole damn thing?
Yeah, him and another guy. Yeah.
Well, get an interview for us. I'd love to. I think we would all like to hear that. I mean, look, the nerd in me is always interested in the stuff that you do at these things.
Right.
The anxiety in me.
Yeah, because there's so many people coming.
But I want to announce this. I do want to announce something publicly on the podcast right now. I am going to go to Days of the Dead of Atlanta, so if you see me there,
it's more your neck of the woods.
I'm planning on going.
We can go if we have a great time at Indianapolis.
Well, I'm planning on going if I can.
See, I
hang out with Gore Christ and his wife, and we can do the.
Yeah, Alexis and I like Days of the Dead Atlanta, but we did it to ourselves. We got there a day, we went there Saturday, Sunday, because we had to work. We were kind of tight on money. So we didn't have as good of a time, because Friday night is when the vendors are open late. On Saturday night, they have so much other stuff going on. The vendors,
like a party or something?
Yeah, like the vendors close early. So we missed out on shopping all day because we were in the middle of getting all the photo ops and waiting in line and meeting people. And then by the time we got done, we had like an hour to shop, and most of the places were closed by then. So, I mean, we kind of were saddened about that, but we went and watched, the tattoo thing. We sat and watched Halloween for a little bit because they had that on a projector, like the original Halloween, and PJ Souls introduced the movie, and that was really nice. Amazing. But there was no fucking seats. We were just kind of sitting on the floor, and, I don't know. It's a really good convention, though. I mean, they do a great job. They've been around forever. And the organizers know what they're doing. They have a lot of fun. They're definitely not like a tame, like family-friendly place. I mean, they are, but they don't care. Like, they just, they're balls out, whatever. They have a good time. They don't care.
But do you think, though, when you're, to switch back to this real quick, because I'm curious about, maybe if there is agreement, you can go chill with some of these. Maybe you can get some surprise guests on there. Maybe Bill Moseley, or maybe get,
Yeah, there's a lot of great talent there.
I thought maybe Bill would do it because of Phil, maybe.
Yeah, the Bill and Phil thing is pretty cool, and I know Bill's always working. He's a working dude. He's got a lot of film projects. He always has cameos and stuff, and he's pretty much a cameo guy. I mean, if you look up a horror movie, Bill's probably in it somewhere. I mean, he really is. He's got a hell of a catalog. But yeah, it'd be cool. I can see what I can do with all that.
Jason Roundtable's what I'm voting for.
That'd be amazing, but to get all three of them, I mean, I don't know. I just have to.
But even if you could just get all three at some point, just kind of.
See, I love this. This movie jumps out of reality, and now he's in the. Looks like another damn time period with a fucking John Rye Davies werewolf. It's pretty interesting.
Well, it is, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of jump through the little displays, and it takes you into another dimension. It's cool as shit.
I thought you'd like
it's very supernatural. But it's also fantasy, and it's old school horror because you get the.
It's funny,
you get
on
Dracula
DVD
and Frankenstein.
These are like garbage, like dollar titles, and on Blu-ray they're like $40, $50 titles.
Yeah,
it's interesting how they coin the market on that. But
it is pretty cool. But even when they jump through the display, they become a completely different character too, which is.
I'm
cool.
excited about the Warlock films coming out. That's
nasty.
what I'm.
Another Vestron. He's doing a little. That's head split, beautiful gore. That's what Daddy likes. And then he gets a silver bullet. Very cool. Already, this film's amazing. It looks great. The effects are nice. That fucking face rip is nasty. The head rippage. But yeah, the Days of the Dead's gonna be really fun. I would love to go to Atlanta again. Because they always bring different people. It's never the same. They'll have they'll bring a few guests to another. One because they do L.A., they do Chicago, they do Louisville, Kentucky, and
is the Louisville one happened yet?
No, that's the next one.
Can we see who's at that?
I know Linda Blair's going to be at that.
Linda's coming to Knoxville. Did you see that?
Yeah,
where our folks are. My folks are the.
Let's see.
If she would actually show, but the thing is, didn't you tell me she was acting weird?
She was very rude to guests that were in front of me. And I just kind of
what? Give me an example. Like I'm going to be a guest and you be her, okay? God, this is amazing! I can't believe I'm getting to meet you. This is fucking cool.
And she was just kind of yeah, whatever. And the people asked for a photo with her, and she got really mad because she had to leave her table. And then they wanted to take another picture with her because they're I don't know if that one was good. Can we get another one? And then she was just no, that one's fine. And she just walked off. And I was in line forever, and this was at the point where I didn't have money. I just wanted to talk to her. Because I was you're the first horror movie I saw. I'm sure a lot of people.
Love that
I'm
movie.
sure a ton of people are like that seeing her, but I didn't have any money to give her, so I just wanted to, say thank you. And once I saw her act like that, I was I don't want to piss her off, so I'm just going to leave.
What was she charging?
$60 or something.
Jesus, in the morning.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, let's talk. I want to talk about that.
She donates it to her. Her
dead animals
her rescue fund, yeah, which is nice, whatever. But here's Miles O'Keefe here, the Dracula.
Here's my whole thing with her. Jason Miller, which was Father Karras.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who his son is? I'm gonna blow your mind all over this podcast right now. A lot of people don't know this. I was watching this huge interview with him the other night. Well, his son played Michael in Lost Boys.
Really?
That's his son.
Wow.
That's a fact.
That's awesome.
Now, I'll tell you what's interesting. This is also, hopefully, our viewers will get a kick out of this. Listeners, viewers, whatever, I'm an idiot. The role was initially Warner Brothers wanted and insisted on Jack Nicholson to play that role. It would have been way over the top, and I don't think he could have pulled it off. It would have. Maybe if he'd been the demon.
Yeah,
but
so this is for September 1st through the 3rd in Louisville, Kentucky. The Days of the Dead. You got Linda Blair. You got Tony Todd, who's going to be Candyman for photo ops.
I'd rather be Commander Kern.
Me too, but it's still pretty cool. Gary Busey,
that's cool.
That's kind of selling me. I actually would love to do that. Kane Hodder, Kurt Angle, if you like wrestling, and Alan Oppenheimer, who does voice of Skeletor, and that's all they got so far for that.
Well, that sounds like the thing in Knoxville.
Yeah. And then Chicago, I know they've announced a few guests. I don't know, but you just have a good time. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I wanted to.
The thing I'm looking forward to.
It doesn't seem like there is a horror convention anymore. And everybody's like, oh, it was Texas Frightmare. It's like, yeah, you had Dario Argento, and that's it.
No, that was pretty beefed. I mean, they had the Thing reunion with everybody but Kurt Russell, and they had Fright Night reunion that they've been doing. They had that. The Suspiria thing was a reunion. It was Suspiria, like most of the girls with Dario Argento. They had Barbara Crampton there. I mean, they had every fucking buddy there. I'd say if there was a huge one to go to, it's Texas Frightmare. But it's also in Texas, trying to think of what else. Horror Hound has its good things and bad things. Not really bad. It's just.
Have they added anything? Can we talk about that one?
Just a matter of. No conventions are bad. It's just a matter of what you want to spend your money on and go to. If it's close, then that's a reason to do it. And no, I mean, they haven't really added anything else. I mean, they got a Friday the 13th Part 2 reunion that's pretty cool, and they got somewhat of a Lost Boys reunion, going, and they got Clint Howard, which is cool, and Mitch Pileggi and Natasha Henstridge is kind of cool. So I mean, they got
that was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean it's there's no bad conventions. It's all a matter of what you want to spend your money on and what actors you want to meet. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. So just look up horror conventions on Google and you'll find all the ones happening, and that's going to base what you want to do. It's what actors you want to meet and what stuff you want to buy, because you can go look at the vendors list, and I know for Days of the Dead coming up, there's going to be Vinegar Syndrome there that were there at Atlanta, and then Severin's going to be there as well, which is pretty awesome.
That is awesome.
Looking forward to that. And there's I don't think Cavity Colors is going to be there, which I'm kind of upset about. They were in Atlanta, but you got to figure these guys go all over the map, so they got to kind of pick what they're doing and what they're not going to be able to do. So, the vendors are always a surprise because you never know what they're going to do.
I don't know.
So many fucking toys you can get and memorabilia and just weird stuff. You can get tattoos at this convention, so if you want a fucking tattoo, you can do that. And then, what are you doing, Tuna?
There was a guy trying to promote some kind of thing, and he was wearing it's some kind of like Fright Rags knockoff thing or something.
Yeah.
It was some kind of Friday the 13th shirt. I was like, that looks like shit.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's really cool. It's like, no, it's like a regular shirt with a Friday the 13th. It looks like you got it at Walmart, but you pay $30 for it.
It was made on like Redbubble.
No, it's one of those, I forget the name of the company. It's some company trying to compete with what he does. And the shirt, I'm glad I actually got to see one up close. The image looked like it was off center and it looked like shit. Yeah, and he paid like $1,000 for it too, which I also thought was bad. It's like, wow, you spent a lot of money on that.
Don't get up on the couch. Come on, good boy. Tootie's here as my guest here.
But so it seems like it would be fun to get to do that, and hopefully having that pass, and maybe with that one of the promoter guys, maybe he can hook you up with some of those interviews.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing there's some kind of a press room or like some place that we can all go. I think there'll be more details when I'm at the event, or maybe he'll shoot me an email talking about anything, a direction I can go, because I'm pretty sure there's some kind of a press room. Or just like a VIP area where we can all meet up and I can talk to the other press guys and we all just kind of do our thing. I don't think I'm just there blind, with a press pass. I feel like there's some kind of direction there. And if there's not, I'll find my own way. I can have Ken help me out because Ken will be happy to see me. And
Ken's a pimp.
Yeah, and he'll...
I love him.
He'll give me something out of that, for the fans, for you guys. But really, the other thing is, like I said, if you've never been to a horror convention before, it's definitely worth going to. If you like if you like celebrating the world of horror in the middle of summer and not just Halloween, I mean, this is the place to be, because people are dressed up like it's Halloween, like in costume, and it's very fun. You see a lot of Jasons and Leatherfaces, and there's a lot of like extra little things. Like they had somebody had made as an official display for Days of the Dead in Atlanta. It was the front. It was like the front of the Myers house. It was pretty cool, and it's a whole display. Like you can go in it, and it looks like the front of the house, and has the music playing and stuff. And it's really neat. It's like a whole like front end of a house. It's really nice.
I never, so
just
something I got
things.
tired of, and I something that I don't enjoy doing when I go to those conventions. Just not the horror ones, but just going to a convention.
Got to the bone gore here. Is pretty nice.
I get tired of seeing fat stormtroopers.
Yeah, well, you don't have to worry about that at horror conventions.
No, but I'm saying, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get really tired of that, and it's a real put-off for me, and it doesn't make me want to go spend money.
Yeah.
When there's fat stormtroopers. Like last year when I went to meet William Shatner, I can't tell you how, and I'm like, why are fat stormtroopers at a William Shatner signing? Why are you in here watching him talk? Because I guarantee he doesn't like Star Wars.
Oh, and there's rat eating his fucking...
It's like it's like, yeah, that's nasty right there.
Oof. Yeah, I get it, but there's not too much of that at horror conventions. I mean, I think the 501st had like a table there. And
then I'll tell you something else I always get too, and it gets really old, is you'll get in line, and I don't know how... I've never figured this out. I don't know how Star Wars fans find me at conventions. And I'm in line, and it's like, there was this lady, like this middle-aged lady with her kids, like her like, 10 to 15-year-old kids, and she's all like, we teach the Force in our house, and blah, and all this stuff, and I'm like, if Star Wars wasn't a put-off for me, which it is, but if it wasn't, it really is when you deal with stuff like that. And it makes it hard for me to enjoy anything else around me when they're that kind of fucking... Literally, someone that needs a straitjacket is at that convention.
Right.
It's like, wow, you never leave your home, do you? It's actually scary.
Right. Well, that's a good thing about horror.
You haven't had sex in 20 years. No. You just sit at your house and pretend the Force is real.
It's a mixed bag with stuff, with regular conventions like that, and like sci-fi stuff. But at horror conventions,
no, it sounds like the horror ones are safe.
They're safe because it's our thing.
Deal with it.
Sometimes they have wrestling and stuff like that, but that's kind of, it doesn't really affect anything. Like you got your wrestling nerds, they're kind of horror nerds usually too, and then often you'll find a lot of metalheads there because it goes hand in hand. It's like what we do, and fans listen to our shit. We're more inclined to go to a horror convention than go see, like a local convention that brings sci-fi and maybe one or two horror guys.
Stuff, man.
If it's a mixed bag, they're taking their kids, and they have kids sometimes at these conventions, but they're like you have little kids dressed up as the Sam from Trick or Treat, and that's cute, and all this kind of stuff. But hear me out,
though. But they're not standing there telling you how Michael Myers is real and how his kids know about it.
Yeah.
And this Christmas, Michael Myers is going to return to the big screen with his lightsaber and teach everybody about the ways of the world. It's fucking stupid, and I'm tired of it. I honestly would like to go to this is awful to say on here, but it's the truth. I want to go there with like a street sweeper shotgun. Like I just don't. I don't want to deal with people, man.
And another head explosion is beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's great.
You got blood on the tits. You got nice. Damn, that's full head explosion. That's
but beautiful. I don't want to deal with people at that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. The horror conventions are safe generally. I've never had issues with other people. Usually, I make friends just by being there.
Nice.
People just I'll wear my metal t-shirts and they'll be like, dude, you want to come up to room 212, we'll fucking party. Cool, man.
You done that?
Yes, just based on I wore King Diamond shirt, and I ended up meeting Brandaler from Mastodon because of my shirt and all this weird shit. Just a lot of cool experiences out of nothing, just me being there. And people are just really nice, and I'd rather see people dressed as Leatherface or Ghostface even than see them dressed as stormtroopers or something stupid like that. I mean, I get it, and I like Star Wars and all that, but I'm just not really like a 501st guy or any of that kind of shit, you know. Because I see it too much, and it's just, you know, it's kind of just weird. I'm more of a Halloween guy. I like watching, you know, I like being in that world. I've never.
Do you know what I mean?
Here's the argument. Here's the argument, and this is for me. I'm not saying everybody. I've never been around a bunch of cosplay Star Wars people and felt like I'm in Star Wars. This is amazing. I'm always just like, oh, cool, look, it's a Stormtrooper. Oh, it's Boba Fett, that's cool. But I've never felt like I was immersed in Star Wars because they're around me. And I think that's what they feel like. But with horror conventions...
It's worse than that, though. It's worse...
Well, that's what I'm saying. In horror conventions, though, I actually feel like it's Halloween again. And it feels cool because people are dressed up as, like, scary shit or gory, you know, like serial killers and stuff. I enjoy...
Do you know how dumb it is? Now, I want to talk about this a second. These are people that need a reality check. And we talked about this probably 6 months ago, and I'm going to talk about it again just for a second. You're not Deadpool. You're not. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. You're not Deadpool. And I'm tired of seeing, and you know the convention I'm talking about, I'm not going to give it any kind of press, and it's like, Jethro Biggins from Maribel is Deadpool. It's like, no, you're not. You're not fucking Deadpool. And your Jethro boyfriend is not fucking Wolverine. Those characters aren't fucking real. And if they were, then I'll get my picture with Hugh Jackman or Ryan Reynolds, and I like those characters. You're not them.
Right.
And I'm tired of that cosplay shit. Anybody want to ever offend me? Talk about cosplay stuff. Everyone, if you're listening, every person that does it, you need to grow up. You're not 10. You're also not the actor that plays them in the film. Mm-hmm. Does it not offend you? It offends me. Have you not seen this? They'll have like a full Jimmy Johns is Deadpool. It's like, no, you're not. You're not. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. You know, that's just me.
Yeah,
I can't deal with it. I cannot deal with it.
It's different when you're at a horror convention because it's supposed to be dressed up. You know, there's also
I'm not talking about that.
There's also costume contests, but if you're like walking around as Gambit or Jubilee or, you know, Captain America, it just looks kind of goofy. It's like maybe for Halloween.
I'm not talking about somebody that makes this costume that's walking around in it. I'm talking about somebody that legitimately is advertised as a guest.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're not Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, they're like have your kid come meet Deadpool, like that kind of shit.
No, it's happening. Like I see this stuff, and there are people around this area that do that stuff that think they're really those characters. I'm like, Deadpool is not 5'8".
Yeah,
Deadpool's my height. I don't think I'm Deadpool, and I know you're not Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
Yeah. Either way, you know,
I just can't stress to people about that, you know, and that's got to be a plus to the horror convention, but one of the reasons that I cannot stomach going to that stuff, and I'll tell you right now, literally a fat stormtrooper told me to move along once at one of those things from that 501st.
That's where some of this hatred comes from, yeah.
Well, y'all need a straitjacket because you're not a stormtrooper. Star Wars isn't real. It's a children's television movie. That's all it is. It's not real. Deadpool's not real. But at least if you're going to do that stuff, let the actor be that character and not you pretend that you're that thing. That's why I can't go to that Dragon Con shit. I guarantee they have all that cosplay shit there. I can't deal with it.
Oh, it's
I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it. You know, you're not whoever. And these have you ever met these people that do? They're crazy. They actually think they're this person.
Yeah. Well, they stay in character and all this stuff, and it's like, why don't you go be an actor then if you want to be a character? Instead of just going to these conventions for free. I don't know. I don't get it.
And you're not Deadpool.
See, this part right here is supposed to be
it's just stupid.
Jason
I
exhibit,
can't.
It's the Phantom of the Opera instead. But it was supposed to be the.
Look, am I the biggest Kane Hodder Jason film? Probably not. But it's okay. At least he played Jason.
Yeah.
You can talk to him about his performance as Jason. He's not pretending to walk around the convention as Jason. He is Jason.
Yeah.
CJ from Part 6, you met him, dressed up as Jason. Well, it's because he is nice costume, man. You can come up hang my cosplay thing. No, because he actually played him. You can't pretend. And these people, they're all crazy. They're all nerds, and they think they can just go into this convention and act like they're. And I can't believe that the show people. I guess the show people are getting laid by the girls or something, and that's why they do it. They get their little blowjob, their little nerd blowjob from some X-Men character or something, because they all believe they're these real people. But all I know is that through Riz, this dude I knew, I met a bunch of those people that did that stuff, and I literally was like, wow. I want to listen to Mortician.
Yeah.
Moving on. But yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, that's why I don't go to conventions.
On the safe side, you know.
I can't deal with it.
With horror stuff, it's nice to go to a convention. People are dressed up as...
It's more mellow.
Yeah, they're dressed up, but they're not in your face. You know, some of them try to be in
They're
character.
dressing up because it's fun.
Yeah.
They're not dressing up because they think they're that person.
Yeah, they just do it to have a good time because it's Halloween in fucking June. Like, why wouldn't you? It's an escape for us to nerd out in a horror fashion. And if you're going to dress up, you know, that's part of it. That's Halloween in style, and it's a fun way to meet people, too, when you're partying with them and they're dressed up. You know, I feel like it's Halloween again, and it's summer. It's nice.
I don't know. I don't walk around concerts pretending I'm Millie from Creator.
No. You don't pretend you're...
you know, and... Now, if I was in Creator... But
well, me and you both look like we're in bands anyway, so you wouldn't really have to go far.
Yeah, well, I mean... I do music stuff, but that's not.
Here's the other thing with me,
but I'm not so far gone that I actually think and believe that I'm a superhero when superheroes don't exist.
The other thing is, I'm not the type to be in costume, because if I'm going to take a picture with a guest that I really like, I don't want to be dressed up as him or dressed up as a zombie with George Romero. Like, that's really dumb. I know a lot of people do it, and that's what they like, and that's fine. But I like to just take a picture where it's myself and George Romero. I don't want to take a picture where it's me as a zombie and George Romero. Like,
the same thing as an autograph. I hate when anybody puts to Vincent Kane Hodder.
Yeah, I have a lot of those.
See, I don't do that. I have them sign it. That's it. And the reason being on that, kids, always remember this: you can resell it if you do that. If your fucking name's on it, nobody's going to buy it. Nobody will.
And certain guests will only sign it. They will not personalize it. Like George Romero, only personalize it. Or only signs it. He doesn't personalize it. And that's fine. I don't care either way. However they want to sign their name on it. If they usually they'll ask me. They're like, okay, who am I making it out to? I'm not going to be like, no, I just want your signature. Like, if they're asking me who I am, then yeah, I'm gonna tell them, and they can sign it how they want, you know. But a lot of guests will only do it a certain way, you know, or whatever. But it's really fun to get to meet them, even if you're in a line and people are up your ass. You know, you still get to interact with them, and they do other things. Honestly, guys, the panels are probably besides the shopping, the panels are probably the coolest shit. And I didn't get to do any of them last year. I think we saw like the end of the Stranger Things one, and there just wasn't any time. We were in line for the photo ops, and by the time that was over, we went and shopped a little bit, and then the panels were already pretty much done. So this year we're going a day, you know, for all 3 days, so it'll be a lot nicer. And we'll have. I think we're going to get everything done Friday, get all the signings done, all the photo op stuff, and then Saturday is when all the panels start, where they're really good. Like Saturday is the Dawn of the Dead panel. It's going to be fucking awesome. It's all the whole cast.
See, that's stuff. I mean, and it is cool, but Again, it's like I've had more negative experiences going to conventions than I have positive. Because all it really feels like to me. If you guys feel this way, please.
Pissing contest.
Yes, and I don't like that. That's why I don't like going to concerts. There's always 90% of the people there think that they are the biggest fan or they know everything.
Honestly, though,
it's like
I'm being completely honest with you. At horror conventions, never had that.
I didn't have it happen back then. You forget, I used to go to the Fangoria conventions.
Regular conventions, oh yeah.
I never had an issue with that, but
because regular conventions allow certain audiences to come in and act like that. With horror conventions, they're pretty similar to you and I, or our fans. Like, they're horror guys. A lot of them are metal people, and I've never had a bad experience hanging out or being around the horror people. I mean, it occasionally might happen with certain people being at conventions, but you can't help that. It's always...
We should do a bit on here where I go with a mic and fake interview cosplay people where I'm making fun of them.
You should. Why not? It'd be fun. You can do it here while I'm gone.
It would be so funny.
So yeah, I've never had a bad experience with any people around me. Usually, everyone's trying to get their own. They're doing their own thing. They're collecting stuff because most of the people that go there, they're collectors anyway. They're not like, oh yeah, I already have that. Or I get into really good discussions with horror stuff with people and metal stuff, and it's just fun. Because really, the audience that's coming to these events are different than someone that's going to go to Dragon Con or Marble City Con, whatever the fuck all those it's just a different demographic, and it's a different, group of, community of people, I should say, that go to these things and travel to go to conventions like horror conventions, because it's more common ground than people that have like, oh, here's a wrestler, and here's like 5 sci-fi guys, and then here's just some dude from a TV show, here's a child star, here's a bunch of comic artists, and here's our one big blow that's like, whatever. And that brings in all walks of life, all kinds of different people that'll think what horror conventions are for are weird, and like, oh, he's from a rated R movie, you don't want to meet him, and all this stuff. But horror conventions are common ground for people like us, and it's a good place to meet newer people, or not even that, just people leave you alone. I mean, we're just shopping, we're meeting our celebrity people, and going to the panels. I've never had anybody call me out or be weird or be really rude. I mean, I've always had really good conversations in line with guests, sure, with some of them, but with actual fans.
You had the guy making fun of you for having my Kevin Nash figure.
Oh yeah, well, I don't care. Those people. I don't know what those people were doing there. They were just kind of Joe Blows. Like they look like people from a 70s horror film that would have got killed off like right in the beginning. But I think those guys were just there, like at the hotel. I don't even think they were at the convention because they didn't have stuff. They were just like 3 dudes in a fucking room or something, probably jerking each other off. I don't know. That was just kind of weird. But stuff like that's gonna happen. But I've never been in line or been looking at stuff and somebody's just been like, "Hey, my shirt's better than yours," or "Yeah, I got like 100 posters signed," and I've never had anybody bother me. Except
because everything you said you haven't had happen there, I have had at regular conventions.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying regular conventions. If you go to Atlanta, you're going to
specifically, and I want to be specific and put a tag on this for people that want to know what I'm attacking. Sci-fi conventions specifically.
Yeah, because those people are kind of, just know-it-all assholes anyway. I'm not knocking anybody. I love sci-fi. The Doctor's a huge fan of sci-fi stuff, and
But you're right.
But
you're right.
Just the general populace, very, very,
and even when they don't know anything, they think they know everything.
Yeah,
and that's more of it than anything.
And you're going to find
hard
that.
And
it's like James T. Kirk is from Iowa, and it's like, well, he was actually really from here, and then they moved it into story to, it's like, whatever, dude. I'm not trying to be critical or, we're just here to have a good time. And I think Days of the Dead really does that, and it's a good place to bring horror fans together and just meet. When I went to Atlanta, Mrs. Gorechrist had fallen asleep, and actually, I want to say this was Mad Monster when we went last year or the year before. I don't remember. We'll just say it was Days of the Dead, but I think it actually was the other one. Either way, she had fallen asleep, and I was like, I'm going to go hang out because I'm still not even really drunk, so I just want to go have a good time still, maybe find a room party. And she was like, okay, be safe. And so I started seeing, people were telling me about this room, so I ended up going, and there was this couple that was there, and they were dressed like, the Addams Family or whatever. Morticia and Gomez, and he was a real life mortician, and it was really fucking cool. Just talking to him about that job, and just very casual guy. He wasn't trying to act like he was Gomez. He was just dressed like Gomez, just being himself. And that guy was really fucking cool. And I met a bunch of people that night that were just a lot of fun, just hung out with had, so there's always a place for that. You can always find parties at night and stuff if you're into that. If you're into just meeting people and getting really drunk or however you party. That's kind of what Days of the Dead's famous for, is just like all the hallway parties and stuff in the hotels. And since I started going to that convention, that's never not been a thing, especially Saturday nights. Always the huge party stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So definitely check it out. Hi, Mrs. Gorechrist is home. How are you?
I left 10 minutes after I texted you.
What the hell happened?
The interstate is like...
fucked.
Complete standstill from Cherry Street all the way to Cedar Bluff going this way. Complete standstill.
Wow.
So it's a 25-minute drive of complete standstill traffic, and then the traffic coming this way was,
Okay, it was a shitstorm, but it didn't yet.
Apparently it's accidents. But it better be like a 20-car pileup and everybody better be dead.
Yeah, people were driving like shit when I went out, so I can only imagine. And I was out that way earlier, so.
You're lucky you didn't go that way any later.
That's why I went early. I always do that.
It's stuck as fuck.
Anyway, Zach Galligan.
My whole day has just been like...
getting stuck in traffic.
It's that face.
Yeah.
That's my whole day.
Now they're in an attic looking at some weird shit. So they got a Ouija board I saw there. Yeah, an addict.
What?
Attic. An addict.
I was going to say, that doesn't sound like a...
They're finding all this Nazi bullshit.
Movie. An addict looking at a...
Or is that... That was Franklin D. Roosevelt, I think. In a Time magazine.
Yeah, it's weird.
One of the only not-Nazis we've had as president, so that's nice. Horror Lord murdered.
Yeah, I sat down with Steve and we talked about... I mean, as much as we could. I don't think he was more stoned than I think he was.
Oh yeah, now let's shift gears here from talking about me and going to the convention and stuff to you. All these fucking shows you've been to,
right?
Last week, we'll just talk about what was your favorite one, for performance-wise first, that you saw. Out of all the bands you saw these past 2 months, your favorite that you've seen live
of this whole year, or just what?
No, just what you've been
those
doing.
6 shows.
Yeah, the last few shows you've been doing.
Cryptopsy.
Wow.
Cryptopsy and Vader.
Wow.
Those are my favorites.
So kind of tied at 2.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that's nothing against other stuff. I just...
Yeah, I was saying your favorite, No matter what, I know.
They were just really good. I like them.
I was in line to go to Vader, and I couldn't go to that.
Well,
the doctor
that show
carried
was...
that.
That show was just, I don't know, there wasn't hardly anybody there, and they wasn't promoted right. And you'd think on Memorial Day there would have been a lot of people there, and it wasn't.
Well, that's probably why there wasn't.
Well,
it's very busy.
They were
family and stuff. And
well, everybody's celebrating National Barbecue Day.
Yeah, they're celebrating.
Well, it was weird too, because that show was supposed to be at a regular venue that we go to.
Yeah,
and
they moved it.
Well, they didn't want it. For whatever reason.
Wow.
And they did it to put some kind of local band fest thing in there, and he was mad about that.
Oh, I'm sure.
And now he won't go back there. So I may have seen them the last time they ever play Atlanta, because he was just mad about all that. But yeah, I don't know. They were all good. I didn't interview Morbid Angel, but Morbid Angel was really good. Everything I saw was good. I wasn't disappointed with any of the bands that I mean, I was disappointed with one of the interviews, but I wasn't disappointed with that band's performance, and I wasn't disappointed. I won't say who it was, but I wasn't disappointed with any of the bands that I saw. I was disappointed with, and I will talk about this a second. Jungle Rot is one of the worst bands in the world. How that band has a record deal is beyond me. Those guys are assholes too. I hope they die in a bus accident. They were a bunch of pricks. That's just the truth. Warbringer's another band. They can die in a bus accident. It's the truth. It's fucking rude. And it's funny, like they were giving... I want to talk about Warbringer. So Warbringer was giving me shit because I was hanging out with Destruction the whole time, and they didn't get to the whole tour. And I'm like, I mean, if you listen to your band, he probably thinks you guys are a bunch of fruits.
Yeah.
You know, who would want to listen to that crap? Schmear's a great guy. Destruction was great.
And that shirt you got, by the way, the Agony shirt.
Oh yeah, it's over there. It's itching me because I haven't washed it yet. But yeah, it was great. It was a great. All of the stuff was good. Vader was just really good. I mean, all of it was good. Suffocations, they've got a great product out right now, and their lineup they have, their touring lineup's great. And of course, you miss Frank, but Kevin did a really good job, and I liked all of it. But yeah, if I had to pick a favorite, it was probably Cryptopsy or Vader.
Awesome.
But and again, the Vader. It's actually sad the Vader probably won't be back in the South again.
Yeah.
Just because I think he's getting tired of people not showing up. I mean, there weren't 30 people at that show.
That sucks.
Yeah, and the rest of that bill was god awful, except for internal
maybe that
bleeding.
Was part of it.
Internal bleeding was good.
Oh, another crush.
They have them touring with like the wrong type of music. It's like, and I think those bands were meant to bring people out, but I think the Vader fans, felt more like, what is this you're touring?
Well,
with?
I think they need to be with. Vader's kind of an upper echelon death metal band. I think they need to be recognized for that and have more of a strong bill for bands like that.
Because Internal Bleeding didn't fit on that bill. And
I love Internal Bleeding, and I think that's the closest thing that fit to Vader. But at the same time, it's like it's more of like just old school, more older death metal stuff or slam stuff, even closer to that audience. But Vader's just, that's like top shelf stuff.
That's what I'm saying. It was
pathetic
that nobody was there, and it's like the reason I think they did so well in Maryland's because they played that first album all the way through, and he talked about that. It is, but
and
at
that's
the same
also
time,
and hear me out on this. In Maryland, you got Vader up there with Autopsy and Morbid Angel, and even Candlemass, like stuff like that. That makes sense. It's like all those bands and Vader's there. It's like, yeah, I get it. And Cryptopsy even, so all that stuff, and then you got Vader. That makes perfect sense. But when you have Vader headlining, and it's like Internal Bleeding and some other just up and coming death metal band stuff, it's like
they don't like throwaway stuff.
They don't need to They need to be on definitely a higher tier.
But there's tours that happen like that all the time. Goat Horse shouldn't be opening for Amon Amarth.
Yeah,
that's garbage.
But at least Amon Amarth.
That bill doesn't even make any sense. Neither one of those bands fit together. That would be like
their label mates at least.
It is, but at
least it's a big band and a big band. It's not just Amon Amarth or it's not just Goat Horse.
But it's two totally different types of music. It's like I just don't. When you do that, you alienate your fan bases, and they think you're bringing people in, but in reality, you're alienating people. Like I'll give you the best example was that Black Dahlia Murder and Napalm Death. What a horrible bill. To have those bands tour together.
Black Dahlia Murder left, or the fans of Black Dahlia Murder left and didn't watch Napalm Death. There was like 30 people left for Napalm Death.
Yeah, there was nobody watching them. There was probably less than that. It was bad.
And I guess at some shows in certain cities and states or whatever, you kind of get where everyone stays and it's great, and I'm sure that happens. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, I've never been a fan of it, but it's not really much they can control, and a lot of these bands really want the younger audiences to come out and try them out and see what they're all about, and a lot of the times they might get those new fans and stuff, and that's cool for them. But at the
same thing happened with Destruction. There was nobody watching Destruction. Everybody wanted to see the crap before them.
That's crazy.
Everybody was there to, like that horror we see at every show.
Mm-hmm.
It was like all over that Warbringer band, and I mean, I've farted with more talent than that band has. You're talking about a band that opens for fucking Ice to Earth. It's like they're not that really. They act like they're like rock stars, and it's like your band sucks. And I hate to tell you, just thrash music in general sucks. It's like I don't want to see your crappy band. And Jungle Rod, I'll go back to that again. What a horrible band. And anybody that talks shit about Kerry King, you can just fuck off and die.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of cut your own throat on that. Have fun opening for bands the rest of your life because you're never going to get on an upper echelon tour again after doing that.
Yeah, they don't really tour anyway.
Well, you can't do that. You can't, for all the bad stuff you could or could not say about Dying Fetus, at least Dying Fetus doesn't bite the hand that feeds it. I don't like those guys, but they play ball with people and they get on big tours. You can't act like that and take a shit on a band like Slayer when you're jungle rot and expect to get on upper echelon tours, which if you notice they don't anymore.
No.
They cut their own throat.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't play ball like that. And that's, you know, there's plenty of bands I don't like, but, you know, I'm not getting paid till I'm getting a paycheck, then I'll say whatever the fuck I want. But, you know, right. But I mean, it's the truth. That bill, Destruction, was amazing. Schmier, the interview was fantastic, but the rest of that bill was a toilet. Every band on that bill sucked.
Yeah.
It was just garbage. It's like, and you could tell it was thrown together by label stuff. It was awful.
Yeah, that's kind of just what you get now. I mean, you just gotta go later, sit through the bands. I mean, there's not really... Because it's also hard to get a really good bill together because bands have such hectic schedules where it's like, oh, we tried to get Crisium, but they're over in fucking Denmark, or we tried to get, you know, this band, but they're in Italy. I mean,
one of the the Destruction thing was explained to me. They come over here and they don't know any of these bands and all this stuff.
It's also
on the tour
when they're coming to America, they're losing money. So
sure.
A lot of bands don't want to come here unless it's, you know, smaller bands that aren't getting much of a paycheck out of it because they can pay them, you know, a smaller cut.
I mean, I don't want to name any names. It's like when we saw Creator. Nothing on that bill could touch Creator.
No,
nothing. That's it. And it's the same with the Destruction thing. All those bands, it's like you can try all you want and then just have the floor wiped with you.
No,
you talk about a band that's been doing it 30 years. It's like,
maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of bands, or at least a lot of, you know, tour organizers do that. You know, so the headliner that's from Germany or wherever is getting more money when they put lower bands on the bill that don't expect to have like a big guarantee or whatever.
Right.
So it mainly goes to the headliner because they're losing money coming over here to tour and have 40 people stand there and watch them.
That's another thing I want to mention. As nice as Cryptopsy was, and aside from, I'll excuse two bands. Aside from Decrepit Birth, and aside from trying to think of the name of that band. They weren't on the tour yet.
Visceral Disgorge?
Yeah. That's the only two bands. And Cryptopsy, I'll excuse. The rest of that tour was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
That Rivers and Neil band is horrible. Horrible. Unprofessional and horrible. It's just like this 20-year-old metal stuff. I just don't understand it. It's like... And then they try to look and dress like they're in like these 80s bands. It's like, you look like an idiot. It's just dumb. The whole vest thing. It's like, you're not Schmier. You don't get to wear a vest. You look like a fucking jack-off. And it's just my opinion. I just don't. It's the same with that Warbringer band. It's one of the worst crap I've ever seen in my life. I'd rather jump off of a building and splatter somewhere than listen to that sewage in my ears. You know. But yeah, it's like... It's ridiculous to have to sit through that stuff, and it nauseated me having to spend my money to go get the interviews and then have to sit through that sewage and have to deal with them backstage and stuff. And I kept having people trying to shake me down or whatever that were back in that stuff. But most of the time that didn't happen because, fortunately, on every one of those, except for Suffocation, I was dealing with the headliner directly.
Right.
So I didn't have to deal with the lower echelon bands. You know, like Revocation. I didn't watch that fucking band. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't interview them if you had a gun to my head. You know, so, or that Withered band. I'm not watching that crap. You know, and that's fine. You want to pay to play to be on a tour? That's fine. But I think they should have had, you know, Condemned or Aborted Fetus or some of these other real death metal bands on these death metal tours instead of this crap. Because Revocation is not a fucking death metal band.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
No, they're not a death metal band. They're like a hipster beard metal band. It's like, why are you on this death metal bill? Because Morbid Angel and Suffocation is a strong death metal bill.
Yeah.
And you should have death metal bands. That Winds of Plague, or Withered, excuse me, is not a death metal band. I don't know what you are, but you're not a denot metal band. I listen to it. It sounds like some kind of thrash shit, but it's not death metal. And to me, if you're going to have a death metal bill, why not take out Pathology? Why not take out, you know, Lords that I'm into, that Lords band. I can't think of their
Lords of Belial.
Yeah, man. Why don't you take those cats out from Italy? That band's nasty.
Because what was that?
Take out some of these cats that want to tour.
Well, bands like Revocation and stuff are more popular. They sell records,
but again,
that's why they put them on there.
But you're dividing your audience again. Because what happened when
they're trying to cover.
What happened when Revocation finished playing? They left.
Oh yeah, but they don't care as long as the people make.
Nobody watched Suffocation or Morbid Angel. Everybody wanted to watch that stupid band and leave.
If people make their money, then that's what they're going to do. They're going to try and cover their ass because they're losing money.
As long as people realize that you will never hear Dr. Vincent West interview anything he doesn't like, it will never happen.
No, me neither. I don't.
It's just not going to happen. I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to sit here and praise bands that I think are dog shit.
Yeah, we're fans that
the Summer Slaughter tour is garbage except for Origin. It's absolute garbage.
Yeah, I don't get it.
No, I get it. Dying Fetus and Black Diamond are going to sell tickets. I get it. That rings a Saturn. I don't know why, but people like that band, and whatever. If that's what you want to listen to, and you're 20 years old and you got nut hugger jeans, and you're going to go fuck your girlfriend that works at Dairy Queen. You guys are going to get an apartment and then have a kid, and then she'll leave you for a black dude that plays sports. That's your life. You want to do that and listen to Revocation, by all means. Just leave me out of it, I just don't get it. I don't. There's nobody at Vader, but there's people, watching Revocation. I don't get it. It just tells you. It just tells it. It fortifies to me as a hardcore death metal fan that the scene in this country is a joke. And I'm glad. And I want to thank specifically all of our European listening fans. Thank you very much for your support. Corey and I live in a sewer, and we're trying to keep it alive. Trying to keep it alive in America because it's hard to do because bands go on these tours and they're with a bunch of bad people and they don't do the things that they should do. They should tour with lots of good bands, not bad bands.
I fully agree.
Pretty sure that bacon got full of water.
It did?
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean, yes.
But
it's just we have so many fans from South America and the Ukraine and Europe just in general, and I can't thank you in Norway, and thank you for liking my page and sending me friend requests and talking to me online. Feel free to reach out to me whenever you want, and I appreciate you all liking the page and listening to what we do, and even if you don't, you like it and it makes us look good, and thank you, because that's what's important to me at the end of the day. I don't care about I get upset about this stuff because I don't like the way that the business works, but
yeah, but I don't think the bands do either. They got to do what they got to do to make money, and
well,
I don't think the bands generally pick the bills or anything like that.
Well, I can tell you this: if you guys want to know this, I heard it right out of his mouth. Trey completely denounced everything on that bill except for Suffocation.
Yeah,
he did to my face, and I was like, "I'm going to quote you." He's like, "Quote me." So there you go.
Right.
So it's not just me that knows. You can't sell someone a pile of shit and tell them that it's gold. It's like, and I don't know why that band, why they get the work that they do, and an even bigger mystery to me how their former drummer is now Paul and Cannibal's drum tech. I don't understand how that happened. The guy's a cokehead. Like, I don't know. I just don't understand any of that. It just nauseates me. It's like that Skeleton Witch band. They're like the crabs of metal. They show up on like every tour. It's like, there's a tour going on. Revocation or Skeleton Witch are there because they're the venereal disease of metal. It's beard metal dog shit spawned by Mastodon. I don't know. It's crap. I'm tired of seeing it though. I'm tired of seeing that stuff show up on bills.
There's some zombie stuff, and they're trying to rip Zach Gallagher.
Oh yeah, this whole thing goes back and forth where he's jumping through time. It's just like the second one. It's great.
It's really nice. A lot of
and you'll hear
splatters.
When the interview, you guys listen to the interview with Steve, he doesn't like any of this stuff.
Oh,
I got him on a rant about it. It's great. He's just like, we're going to do what we do. It's pure. People can't see that it's pure or where it came from, then that's it. And that's all you can do at the end of the day. You get people that get it. You get people that don't get it. Like when you go to a horror convention, people in line to meet Steve Dash, people either get Potato Sack Jason or they don't get it.
Yeah.
You got the other people across the thing wanting to talk to Sid Haig because they like Rob Zombie films, and they don't understand what Friday the 13th is, so whatever, It's like these idiots out when I play the video game. They don't even know what they're doing.
Just like it, I heard good game.
It's great. I love it. I get to go kill them.
And that's the joy of video games.
You guys want to add me on PlayStation Network? It's Vincent West 666. Very easy to find.
Add us PSN and
have fun. Let's play Friday the 13th together. It'll be fun. But I just don't. Some guy and some like old grandma lady trying to talk to me at one of those shows. I'm just like, man, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Terrence, can we go on your bus? I just don't want to deal with it. I get it now. I actually can honestly say after that last trek of things, I was getting there anyway. After we started doing this over a year ago, and I see why these guys hide on the bus. I don't want to talk to half these people either. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
I'd rather just hide out.
Makes sense.
And in that reflect to something that's coming up. I guess that's maybe that's why one of our guests was abrasive with me. Maybe he just didn't want to deal with it because they got forced into it by the label. So
I'm sure. What happens? We're all human. These guys aren't exempt from emotion or anything.
No.
If anything, they deal with it on a way higher level than we'll ever understand because it's very hard to be
to switch to
a road musician and having be in a different time zone every day and be away from your family and constantly be 100% and weaken day by day. A lot of people work out.
But I want to say this. Steve.
It's just tough, man.
Steve and Glenn from Deicide. Schmear from Destruction, and the whole band from Destruction, all those guys, and their tour manager, thank you, and Peter from Vader, just Peter, just the rest of those guys didn't say anything to me, but they can't speak English, so I'm not really knocking them.
Right.
Terrence from Suffocation, and then Flo from and
Matt.
Yeah, wow, what a welcome I got from those guys, and that's why it's worth it at the end of the day, and it's the other stuff, it doesn't really, But yeah, without me saying it, because I don't want to get right of it, which my least favorite interview was, and it happens. It's actually starting to sink even lower and lower.
Yeah.
I love their music, and I'm not even going to say who it is because I am a fan, but it's one of those things where it's just like, wow, I shouldn't have even done this.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. So you got 5 out of the 6 interviews were good.
You got some straight up lashings going on. Zach Galligan's in here with a fucking sawed off.
I will say something weird though. I want to talk about the Deicide and a comparison to the Deicide and the Vader show. This made no sense to me. The Deicide show sold out on a Sunday, on a work week, and the Vader show they couldn't give tickets away to it on a holiday, on a non-work day, and that makes no sense to me in a city that big.
Sometime like Memorial Day weekend is crazy because a lot of people just spend time with family. They're not going to shows.
You're right. And I'm so disconnected from all that. Not really having family.
Mm-hmm.
You and Alexis are more my family. I know I'm like the probably bad family member, but I still appreciate you all as family, and I forget that sometimes when I'm at this stuff because I can't relate to going, oh, well, we've got to go to Uncle Joe's and Jimmy Tim's and blah, blah, and eat hot dogs and barbecue and stuff. I just don't think about it. And I realize people do that stuff, but I guess I just don't think about it that way. I guess I'm more in the mindset of like the band member where it's like, why is there nobody fucking,
Yeah.
So.
It makes sense from both ends. It's like, why isn't anyone here? And it's like, well, why?
But I get it. I guess I do get it. You'd rather play catch with your kids or your nephew or hang out with your niece and have a hot dog. I don't know, or at the lake or whatever they do.
Have a hot dog.
But it was raining too. That was another thing. I figured the weather's bad. We're gonna have people here, and it filled up, but it didn't. It never filled up. Not like Deicide. Deicide unbelievably was packed.
Yeah.
But it's. I don't know. I wonder how that works like that. There weren't hardly anybody at Morbid Angel. I was actually surprised about that.
Yeah.
That didn't do as well as I thought it would. I'm curious.
A lot of people are weird about the Steve Tucker thing, which is stupid. I mean, I think it's great. Plus, Dave Vincent wrapped up the Covenant thing a few years back. So, I mean, you could have seen him the last few years. And
play the whole record. Yeah, you could. That's their most popular record.
Yeah. And then now you're onto the Steve stuff. A lot of people are not fond of that.
It's interesting, though, but I forget to
I like
think about
both.
stuff
It's more
like
of an angel,
But, I mean, I forget to think about
There's
that.
no reason to choose sides. You either like some of it or you don't like any of it.
Yeah.
I like both from both perspectives.
It is
still the same band. It's just different, a little bit different lyrical content, and it's actually heavier, the Steve stuff, which I love about it. But they both have their own positive qualities to the style, and it helped make the band itself and death metal what it is. I mean,
Well, to touch back on the Deicide thing, your favorite record, Steve wrote that whole thing.
Once Upon the Cross?
The whole thing.
It's awesome.
And I want to also talk about this. This is something for any hardcore Deicide fans out there when you listen to this. The Hoffmans had very little to do with that band. Other than the name, but zero lyrical input after the first album. You know who wrote Legion?
Who?
Steve.
It's awesome. That's
what I'm saying. I mean, any of their top tier echelon stuff, minus the first album, the Hoffmans were involved in that record. But outside of that, their influence that I always thought was so important apparently isn't that important. And I think that's why Deicide continues to put out good records, is because Steve is still writing everything. Glenn does his own lyrics, but on Once Upon the Cross, that was Steve. Oh, something else fun for you guys, because we got so much hate mail about me not asking Chris Barnes, or Corey asking Chris Barnes about the Created to Kill sessions. I guess what I did ask Steve about. I did ask him about the bombing in that club where the show was canceled.
Wow.
He does talk about that in the interview.
And our Demon Cat also interviewed Steve.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine.
I have like cream cheese and bacon and raw chicken over here, so she's like,
all about it. She's ready to eat. Well, that's fine.
Ready to cannibalize.
I'm good. But yeah, it was exciting to get to ask him about that. He said he didn't think anything about it, but I mean, how could you not think about a bomb threat? That's scary, especially nowadays. I guess it's just commonplace, but back then it's like it's just weird, Yeah. But hopefully people enjoy getting to hear that, because I figured what's some good questions I can pull out of my ass that people are going to aggravate me about not asking him. So I asked him about the bomb scare, and here's what he confirmed, that it was black metal bands that did do it. Apparently it was the Burzum guys that were involved in that.
Right.
I don't know why they hate Glenn Benton and Deicide, but apparently they do.
I guess because they're from America or something, I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what the whole interesting thing with the black metal thing is, and I hate to again pull the flag down on people with this, but the death metal thing was going way before that ever started.
Right.
You can't attack something that was before you.
Yeah.
You cannot like it. It's like the Beatles. You don't have to like the Beatles, but you have to give the Beatles their due into tons of music.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, Chuck Berry. I don't listen to Chuck Berry ever, but Chuck Berry was heavily influential in having all the music we have today. Badass black dude wearing it out on the guitar and singing and stuff. But you have to give that, and that's people don't do that. But those black metal bands, I guess they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, they tried to kill. Specifically, Steve was saying they didn't want to kill Deicide; they wanted to kill Glenn.
Wow.
So.
I guess maybe they felt he wasn't legit.
Yeah, it's great. It's in the interview. It's great.
I mean,
he didn't get too much into it, but what's funny is he kind of just blew it off. But that had to have scared the hell out of them. It would have scared the hell out of me. You're in a foreign country, and those bands, you're on their turf, and they're threatening to kill you. It's a little much.
Right.
And this was 95 when that happened. But yeah, that's on the interview. So, and to my knowledge, because I've watched a ton of interviews with him, and I've never heard anybody ask him about that bombing.
Right.
So I went ahead and did it. He was cool. He's really stoned in the interview, and then I ended up getting stoned, and the interview just kind of there it went. But
it was pretty funny because the doctor was sending me pictures, to my cell phone, when he was meeting them, and I was like, "How's the show going?" or "How's the interview?" And he just sent me a picture, and it's him and Steve, and I was like, "You guys look high as a kite. Like Steve can't even fucking see." And then. The doctor, I was like, I haven't seen you that wrecked in a long time. Like,
I was really
blitzed.
Bad stoned.
It was funny. Well, this scene right here was really interesting. There's like a witch thing and a doctor thing,
but yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, this movie's really neat. But I don't know. I guess
it's like a rated R Monster Squad. That's what this reminds me of. It's like a gory Monster Squad. Now I know why this is one of the doctor's favorite horror movies.
Yeah, I like.
And there's like a.
It's just like a monster movie. It's cool.
Oh,
I like how all this stuff comes to life.
Oh, shit. Sir Wilfred to the rescue. Huh. This is pretty cool. I'll wait till the doctor's out of the can so I can present this thing.
I'm baking bacon.
You're baking bacon?
Baking bacon.
What?
Alright, I'm going to go in the hot seat now.
I don't think so.
I'm going to ask Mrs. Gorecross something on the podcast because I've been very nervous about it ever
Can
since.
I ask you something? Can you take a fork and bend that aluminum foil up because I'm scared
Yeah.
of it?
Did I screw up doing this color or does it look weird on me?
No. You see right
Are
there
you
where
sure?
the grease is coming to this? We just bend it up.
Are you sure it doesn't look weird?
Yes, thank you. Perfect.
Does it look weird?
Oh, now it's cool. It's like Monster
dirty,
versus
It's a lot more.
Monster
like
Hunter
mine.
here on
It's
this.
more purple, like mine
You
is.
did?
Yeah.
Oh,
With
it
axes in their
bad,
heads,
but it
choking
doesn't look weird on
people.
me.
No, it looks like my color. Though.
Well, after I did it, I was like, it's kind of loud.
It's
compared to
fucking
what I've been
undead
doing.
ushers, and there's a fucking pirate.
That's Patrick McNee too.
Yeah.
He's that was Roger Moore's good friend. And
wow.
First of the time you guys
He was
listen to
a
this, we
vampire and
lost him and Adam West.
A
Which
space
sucks.
invader. Yeah, it's awful.
I should have bought shoes and I didn't.
This is cool. Oh, that was right in the fucking dick. A saber to the dick.
You know, I've learned. I've actually
this before we start.
Please, yeah.
This is from the PRP. It says, Creator have gone back in time to release the following video for the title track to the 1986 album Pleasure to Kill. The clip arrives around the upcoming June 16th re-release of a number of efforts from their time on Noise Records. So, Terrible Certainty, Extreme Aggression, Endless Pain, and Pleasure to Kill are all being re-released. And this is what Millie said of the video. Said, this video is a tribute to 80s slasher movie culture. We have kept this very simple, and the idea is to take you back on a trip to the 80s to celebrate the re-release of their first 4 albums. Enjoy. So that's pretty awesome. Millie, we love you. You're great.
You're a very dear part of.
Did you? So, me and Mrs. Gorechrist have a little shop of horrors that's been going on. So we just have like a billion plants in here.
You did?
I found a new plant today. Kroger is having clearance on all their like spring plants. And
God help me.
There's a mini banana plant, and it's the cutest thing.
But you didn't get it?
No, this was at work. I went and got. I buy my groceries like on my break so that I don't have to.
I understand.
She played with my banana plant earlier.
But it's like this tall, and he's $6, and he just. I don't know if it's a banana.
There's a stake through the heart, you ugly bitch.
Like, I don't think it's a banana tree. That wouldn't make any sense. But it's just got really big, giant leaves. It looks like a big iceberg lettuce. Like.
That's funny.
It's super cute.
Did I ever tell? This is just completely random to tell the two of you this, but my dad is a botanist.
Huh.
He's retired.
How many plants do we have? Like 17?
No, our house is like a jungle. Is the reason I was telling you that. Like it literally is like
ours is getting there.
This kind of stuff, and it's
we're gonna need
you doing it here doesn't make it just feel like I'm home. It's just like it's not like that in my room. My room looks like a 10-year-old's, but
we're gonna have to have a separate moving truck.
Want something.
We're gonna have to have a separate.
He's constantly buying stuff.
What if you just want to be rude? You can steal plants and bring them over here.
Oh, shotgun blast to the chest, you bitch.
He does give stuff away sometimes.
I'll take anything that doesn't have to go in the ground.
This movie goes so batshit. There's just people everywhere getting shot and stabbed. Yep, stabbed.
Do you
right
like
there.
it?
It's awesome. It's batshit. It's amazing. It's a lot like Monster Squad meets just like
Phantasm.
Yeah, a little bit. The campiness and the camaraderie, and then
but it's dark.
The gore is really, really gory.
It is.
A lot of head crushing and face ripping. That's great. Good head crushes are.
I thought this would be good, and
it's classic too.
I felt
it's
like we
very
didn't give
nice.
something digging up at the same time. I love because I love this movie.
I love the throwback to the Universal stuff, like the monsters.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. That's really cool.
It's got a good cast too.
It does. Zach This is my favorite Zach Galligan thing. I think.
Hands down.
I love Gremlins, but it's like to me I think I talked about this in one of our other podcasts, but that's like a Christmas movie to me. It's not like a horror movie or there's a little demon baby. Oh yes, demon baby splatter.
I'll tell you what, this movie's way better than Wishmaster.
It is.
It's way
Wishmaster's
better.
cool though, but this is.
It is, but it's cool.
Shoot the bat's head off.
Do you see now why I wanted this so bad when I saw when they announced
This
it?
is amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
It's hysterical too. And it's crazy that it was Michu's, died a year ago yesterday. It's nuts. He just gets shoved into a eating plant, like a man-eating plant.
Yes.
Jesus. And they don't hold back on this movie. I've seen just about everything you could possibly see in a horror movie in this film. There's zombies, there's vampires, there's mummies, there's like snake things, there's aliens, there's I think everyone's been stabbed by every possible weapon. Like in every Jason movie, all the weapons are in this film. Plus, there's guns. So there's a lot of shooting. I saw someone get stabbed in the dick. There's gasoline being poured right now. There's pirates. I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. This movie's like if the Goonies and Monster Squad met with Phantasm and they just had like a gore party. It's fucking insane.
It is.
It's very good though. This is a very good movie. It's bad shit though. Like the
sequel's pretty good. It's the same cast.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen, but I don't remember it being like this.
No, this movie's off the chain.
It just went off the fucking hinges like about 5 minutes ago.
It's a beautiful looking movie too.
It is, yeah, and the Vestron Collectors series still running strong. They got Warlock coming out, which is really cool.
We got to do that.
Yeah, and Wishmaster looked really good when we did
actually, the Warlock sequels are actually good. Warlock 2 is actually really good. Mm-hmm. And those movies are super gory.
I don't remember which one of those I've seen.
It's been $1,000. It was either 1 or 2.
I want to say it was 1, but I don't know. I've seen them. I've seen all of them.
They're good. And Julian Sands is awesome in those movies.
But yeah, I like the
because the premise with that he's Lucifer's basically heretic.
Yeah,
which is great.
It is cool. But this one's like Waxwork is like. There's swashbuckling, now there's sword fighting. Before it looked like
kind of a piece of Rocky Horror in this movie. It's just kind of campy.
It is. Yeah, it's also flashy at times. Especially with
like this
David
right here. Yeah,
this is very. This reminds me more of the Goonies right now. The sword fighting. It's just weird, but it's cool. It's not. It doesn't seem like it shouldn't be there. It's just like, what the fuck's going on? Which is what this movie's kind of about. It's like, what the fuck's going on? But again,
do you know the only thing that breaks my heart about this movie?
What's that?
And you'll know this is I'm a huge fan of this guy's work. I begged to have him come on. It's just never happened. I don't know if he reads it or he just ignores it. But the person that was supposed to play the starring role, they went with the guy from Gremlins because he is a bigger actor. But if you can imagine this for a minute,
I need help.
They originally wanted Robert Russler.
That's why I knew you were getting at that.
Because I was like, that would be so awesome.
You need to get that out.
I need the grease is like right there, and I need to turn the thing up. Scott just did it.
Did what?
Just take the fork and bend the.
Did I not get it up enough?
It just keeps coming back. Just keep bending until it's like bent all the way there. There.
Have you seen that pre-cooked walk out the door with it bacon? That freaks me out.
It's probably coming out the other side.
It's good.
It is it?
Mm-hmm. Microwave bacon?
No. This is like sitting in a box like with chips and stuff. You just walk out of there and eat it.
Jerky?
No. It says it's pre-cooked bacon is what it says.
Ew. It's like dog food.
I'm telling you, that's what I thought. Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried it, but it was at Walmart, and I was like, that's really odd.
That's what
that is. That's kind of funky.
Yeah.
I love David Warner, but yeah.
David Warner's the shit in this.
But no, I wanna go. This is my retribution at the end of this episode. I want to go to a horror convention again because I haven't been to one in ages, and I think it would be fun. I think I would have fun at that because it's not the sci-fi thing, It's
not at all. I mean, they might have people that
I don't care about that, and I don't care that dead things or dead peoples or that Netflix thing. I don't care if those people are there. I don't give a shit. As long as it's not stormtroopers and fucking superhero crap.
Oh, right into the wax bin. That's nasty.
And I'll love me some superhero stuff, but I can't deal with the cosplay shit. I just can't.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking gross. It's awesome though.
Yeah, and this is also kind of an homage, as you brought up earlier, to the original House of Wax with Vincent Price. So
yeah.
It's kind of just a hat tipping. Mm-hmm. But it's in a wax museum, so it's kind of more of a hat tipping.
Yeah, I see what you mean. No, this is great, though, and it hasn't let up. This movie's been nasty since, like, right when it started, we saw, like, a face, and there's a decapitation from the werewolf, nasty. It's John Rye Davies.
That red Dawn of the Dead shirt's gone.
Already?
It's gone. The other ones are still there.
Yeah,
that's the only one that's sold.
Has right now. They got a Dawn of the Dead collection, so those are going to go fast. People, you gotta.
They're going fast. They started this morning and they were going.
Fright rags, you got to get that shit while you can. I want to get the pins because they have like the mall security ones. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And they have some of the dead. You know, they had the Hare Krishna.
You know what I'm disappointed in,
or whatever.
And this may shock you, but I want you to look at it from more just of a character episode. I wanted a Savini motorcycle gang shirt.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. I don't know. They kind of had a weird collection. I really just like the logo with the head. You know, the zombie.
I like the
Flyboy one's kind of cool.
It is cool.
But I agree. If they had like a Savini motorcycle, that's
motorcycle gang, like they're
it's one of the pivotal parts of the film.
Oh,
you know, and it's or maybe you've like the mall itself, like a Monroeville Mall T-shirt or something. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on
it. I think it said part 1 on it, though, did it not? Or is that...
Did I tell you what I ended up getting? I decided just on one of the They Live shirts, I just got the Obey shirt.
Yeah.
So
I want to get the one that says...
we got one that can see.
We got one that can see on it.
I like that one, but I think they're going to end up discounting because it's not selling.
Yeah. That's why with certain stuff, when we go to these conventions, too, you know, you can find a lot of the older shirts. You're just going to have to pay up the ass, you know, which is why you need to go with money. Because they had.
You said you found the Nightbreed shirt.
I found the Nightbreed. I found the Nightbreed shirt, and it was Alexis and I's last day. And I found that. Yeah, and it was like.
Oh yeah, that shirt's rare as hell.
Corey's like, I'm gonna buy this, and then she was like.
I thought it was like.
He was like, no.
I thought it was like $40, which is fine. It's a little over, but you figure
he was gonna buy a couple of shirts for $40 because they had like a deal where you could get like two or three for $40, and then he was like, "Oh, this one will be. I could just get this one for $40. It's worth it."
And then the movie's over.
Nope.
But I looked at the tag, and it was only certain T-shirts or something. Like they were all.
What were they charging for that Decker shirt?
$76.
Someone will buy it.
I would have bought it if I had the money to piss away, but I didn't have shit.
That shirt goes for about $150.
I wanted it so bad, but you know
and
what?
People wonder why I buy all this Fright Rag stuff that I have. If I ever sold it,
oh yeah, you can set up a booth at the convention.
Buy Dr. West, use memorabilia.
You could.
But
I love all those right now. The thing is, I don't have anything that old now.
But I told you guys
shit that they make. I mean, out of this bullshit, they make all kinds of money.
You check out Aaron Crawford and his cavity color stuff. He's going to put out a Nightbreed thing soon, so maybe it'll be something similar.
That's not the Jason shirt I saw. The Jason shirt I saw that this person had on was from some guy that's trying to compete with
their stuff's official, and he's been.
What's the thing? This is too, but this was ghetto looking. Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
It's like a Friday 5 shirt or something. It is ghetto.
I don't know. Some people have their little lines they're just trying to get somewhere, so they put out weird shit. I don't know. And especially when you go to conventions, you're going to see all kinds of stuff like that. Some of it's really nice.
Well, see, the Fright Rag selling point for me, this isn't a Fright Rag shirt, but all their shirts are soft.
Yeah, and I like the material.
I do too, man. It doesn't.
I also love.
My skin's real sensitive. So.
Love the tagless. Tagless is so nice.
Oh yeah.
But you know, you got to pay extra for that kind of stuff. So even to make it, you got to pay extra. But
Steve Asheim. Let's talk about Steve before we wrap this up. Steve's coming up.
Hey, we got Steve.
Stevie.
Deicide, drummer. There's not much to say about him. I mean, he's
original member.
He's
played on everything.
Steve
kids.
from Deicide. It's
played on everything.
No introduction. He's just, they got some new stuff in the works. They'll probably drop in the fall, I'd say. Did he talk about that on the interview? Did he mention anything about new stuff?
It's done.
So the new record's
Jason
done.
Sukoff did it. I can tell you all that.
Okay.
Mark Lewis mixed it, and it will come out. And they want to go. They want to use Eric Rutan eventually because I kind of got on him because I told them I wanted to use Eric.
Right.
And they said they wanted to probably do that next, but they said Eric at the time was too popular. They probably should have went to Eric, but they're happy with what Mark did.
Oh help! No!
And it's coming out soon.
Get out of the oven.
And had a bacon accident.
It's gonna be a fucking fire and shit.
Bacon fire.
Grease fire.
They can grease fire.
Smells like burger.
Pull it out there. Pull the rag out and then pull the thing out. There you go. Now carefully pick it up and sit it on the seat. You just have to pick up the rag.
Well, I can't do it.
Come here, Tootie. But yeah, so you all can listen to Steve tell you all the fascinating things about Deicide. And hopefully you guys enjoyed. I asked him some cool shit. I asked him a bunch of stuff about the inception of the band, his place, his role in the band, of course the stuff that he wrote on, and we go all over the place. We went from the self-titled and all the way up to the last album, In the Minds of Evil, which they're still supporting. So you can check all that out. It's fun. I think you'll like it. He talks about some of his favorite stuff that he did on that record, and then probably not so much stuff that he didn't do, where he was like, well, I don't want to, But it's good. So he's on everything. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. It's a cool interview.
Well, the film, what'd you think?
I love the film. I love this movie. I've defended this movie to you from day one. I got excited about it when I saw it was announced.
Thanks for bringing this, because I really enjoyed that movie. I'm going to go get it.
It's great.
It's like $26 now.
Oh, it's cheaper than that if you get it at Best Buy. Best Buy.
That's where I saw it. It's like $15.
It's $15.
Yeah, well, so people head down to your local Best Buy.
Best Buy has it on sale right now. I don't know if it still is. That may have ended on June 1st.
It's amazing.
They were selling it cheap.
No, they had a bunch of them.
But yeah, I hope you guys... I went through a lot of shit to get these 6 interviews, so I hope you all enjoy these 6. These 6 will be my... These 6 interviews are forever known as the Sinister 6.
There you go.
For me.
So Spider-Man love.
I'm a Spider-Man nerd, and they'll be the Sinister 6.
Awesome.
The Sinister 6 are Steve, Terrence, Flo, Matt,
Which means the museum is
Peter, and Schmear. Is the Sinister 6.
There we go.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and
like I said, be sure to thank Dr. West for everything he's been doing lately, and what he continues to do all the time.
We try here at Phantasm.
Go pick up Waxwork, which is paired with Waxwork 2 and Vestron Collector's Series. If you don't know who our guest is, please go listen to Deicide. That's ridiculous. You need to get the fuck up and go buy yourself some Deicide records. Any of them will do. They're all good. They're all...
In the Minds of Evil and To Hell with God are available on Century Media Records.
They are. And, yeah, from the Doctor and I and Mrs. Gore Christ.
We're all here.
Stay fucking gory.
This is Dr. Vincent West with the FANTASM Podcast. I'm here today with one of my heroes from one of the first death metal bands that ever got me into listening to the genre. I'm here with Steve from Deicide. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing. Thanks for having me on to Phantasm. Thanks for coming out to the gig.
Oh, yeah, man. Appreciate you. And I guess we'll start here. We'll talk about the tour a bit here. So you guys just started. You did 2 shows in Florida, and then now you're here in Atlanta. So how's that going so far?
It's going pretty good, you know. I mean, we hit the shows on time, and they've been very good responses at the clubs. And this is our first time back in Atlanta since we haven't played the Masquerade since they tore it down. So it's the first time actually playing in Atlanta ever, not at the Masquerade. So that's weird.
It is, yeah.
But it's a cool club. It's a little weird area I've never been to, so it's cool.
Yeah. The last album I really liked. I saw you twice on that tour. You actually played where my family lived twice, in Knoxville on that tour. So yeah, caught both those shows. I think one was last year, December, and then before that it was with like Septic Flesh and Car Chamber and all that.
Yeah, that was a good tour.
Yeah, so that's cool. So we'll what we usually do, we like to go through the discography with you if that's cool, and I'll make it brief, but we'll start with everything. This is the self-titled Deicide album.
Yes.
Any fun memories with that?
Well, I remember the drum kit I used to play was rented because my kit was too crappy. It sounded like shit. And Scott didn't want to use it. So he rented a kit, a Tama, that had that mirror finished shells. You know?
Yeah.
And a couple of rented cymbals because mine were all cracked. Zildjians or whatever.
Right.
And a couple of pasties. And yeah, I remember we did the drum tracks pretty, and it seemed like amateurish looking back. Like I was real nervous about making sure it was professional. But, Scott was there. And so, and I just remember once we got the kick drums going, it was like, wow, that's pretty heavy.
I remember getting it on cassette when I was like 15, and I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I got it at a record bar. Do you remember those?
I do remember record bar,
yeah. So, and then I ended up getting it on CD too, of course. But yeah, I love that record. I love all the... Now, just ask you something about the record there. Now, the photos, the mausoleum and stuff, where was all that taken? Was all in Florida?
That is all down there in Florida, right off of, what is it called? Sunset Point Road. It's called the Sylvan Abbey Memorial Gardens.
Is it still there?
Cemetery, yeah.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Cemetery. So it's all right there. You can go there. It's open to the public.
It's pretty cool.
Just go in there.
Those photos were fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun stuff.
And your first experience working with Scott Burns, did you like that?
Yeah, it was great because he was, a pretty young dude at the time, and so were we. But he had more studio experience, and it was good. It was helpful, and he was very much into the scene, and he was really concerned about making the drums sound awesome, which I thought was cool.
Well, they do sound awesome.
Yeah, and so I dug it. We hit it off right away. And I still see him now and again. I saw him recently at the obituary show in October.
He's another one I would love to have on this podcast. Just
talking
for the stuff
about
he's done.
Anyway, I saw him recently. But yeah, he's a good guy. He's not working, but he still comes out to the shows. Hangs out with the obituary guys. He's very tight with them.
That's cool.
Whenever they do a gig, he always goes.
Cool, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And did you all do a lot of touring for the first album?
No. Not much at all. I don't think we did any actual tours. We did one... It was supposed to be a tour of like a month of Europe in December of 90, and we got over there, and it was just a disaster, not organized well. It only lasted like 4 shows. And like we got to Germany for the start of the German stuff, and the guy who had all the gear never showed up, so we were there with no equipment, just standing around with our thumbs in our asses. And then it was like, this is the fucking guys driving around the countryside on acid, whatever the fuck he was on. So it was like, so that was a bust. But we came back after Legion come out is when we actually started doing tours, because it was like there was more demand and it was a more stable environment, I guess, because the band was increasing demand.
Again, we'll go right into Legion. That's such a great album.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one. People seem to like it,
Talk a little bit about the artwork on the front of that album. I always thought that was really cool.
Yeah, well, the artwork was kind of... Glenn went in the direction of the digital because everyone was having their album covers painted by this artist or that artist, like 5 artists or whatever, and they all were starting to look the same, and it was like, he's like, I want something new. And digital art was kind of in its infancy, I guess. And he found a guy and brought up an idea, about how, the Trifiction was in the glass bubble, and then on the inside cover how it shattered, and it broke out. And then you hear that on the song Trifiction, a glass shattering. That's amazing. What that's kind of supposed to be. I don't know if you ever picked up on that.
Yeah.
Good. See? It worked.
Years of listening to that on headphones.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, there you go. So, yeah, that was a good record, and people, like I say, people enjoy it, and we enjoyed writing it. We started stretching our tech metal abilities, getting a little more technical on the first record, and seeing how that went. So, yeah, it was enjoyable. People dug it, and I dig it.
Oh, it's great. What about the, just kind of before we get to Once Upon the Cross, the Amon, the Feasting the Beast stuff,
Yeah, that was just our demos.
I really like listening to that.
I haven't listened to them in a long time.
I think your drums sound brutal on it.
They sound pretty good.
And his vocals sound crazy.
They did sound great. It was like one of his best sounding shit ever, right? Yeah, and like I said, we had got signed off that demo, and so in between the wait of waiting for Cross to get done. You know, they're like, let's put that out.
It's really cool. That it's fun to listen to still. I like to listen to it.
I'll have to listen to that here soon.
Yeah. And then I noticed when he and I listened to it recently, we noticed there were a couple of tracks that didn't make the final the first album.
Which ones?
Oh God, do you remember that? I can tell you. I got it pulled up here
from the older
Magic
demo.
Internet,
right?
Well, yeah, they were on there, and I don't think they were considered
from the '87 demo.
Right.
Holy Deception.
That's it.
There was a version of that. That's how old that song is, because that was on Legion.
Right.
And then there was the version of Oblivious to Evil. Was called Oblivious to Nothing at the time. Yeah, so over time, stuff gets rearranged and worked out.
It's fun though. It's cool listening to that stuff. It takes you back. And then we'll go right into Once Upon a Cross, which, man, I will tell you, I didn't think you all could outdo yourself on an album. And I love that cover of that. I always thought that was so cool when you open it up and it's like Jesus dissected.
Yeah, it was just trying to convey a message that, I don't know, here's a guy who was probably just mortal. Here's his autopsy, like the rest of us.
It's pretty amazing. It's still...
Yeah, and musically, it was pretty good. It was like, I explained this a couple times to people. We were... With Legion, we had went that more tech death approach, but it was difficult live to pull that stuff off.
I would have to be.
And, we tried to get it down, and it was just a continuing problem that wasn't getting any better. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, for the next record, why don't we make shit not so technical? It was my thinking, and I wrote most of the material. 90% of it. So it's like, let's just strip it down.
I never knew that. I did not know that.
Yeah, I wrote all this music except for one of the second to last one, the second or whatever. One of them.
That's amazing.
So anyway, the idea was to make it not so tech, but still make it heavy, simple, and brutal, and whatever that way. So that's where the approach came. It's like we could try to top ourselves technically, and it's like, nah. It's less effective live. Because once we get into the live environment and try and play it, with the Cross songs, they they sound good live. Because they're just fucking heavy and being too technical and stuff to make it pick up on all of it live,
Well, it sounds, to listen to it, Yeah. I think it sounds as fresh as it does when it came out. I love it. That was my favorite thing I bought that year.
Well, there are a lot of people that I know still like that record, too.
Oh, man.
This is my favorite one. And it depends
really good.
When people picked up on the band, like the first one they hear sometimes is their favorite no matter what.
I love the first album, it's great, but I
don't mean the first record, I mean the first record that someone
that they hear,
of us, whether it's the fifth one or the third one, it's like that's their favorite because that was their introduction to us,
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, but some people like to do the history and go through the timeline, listen to it, hear the progression. I know I do to certain bands or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Go back, find the first record, hear the musical progression of how the improvement in the writing and the musicianship and the everything.
Now was the Once Upon a Cross tour? Was that the one where you all had the bomb scare in Europe? Was that
That was...
Or am I getting my head of myself?
Legion tour.
It was Legion.
Was it? I actually don't remember.
I don't know why I was thinking it was that one. But
I think it was the Legion tour because it was our biggest tour ever, and that was pretty much Legion.
I remember reading that. It scared me half to death. I could imagine having to be there for something like that.
I didn't really care. That was all bullshit.
Oh, was it?
The black metal people did the bombing in Sweden or wherever the fuck that was, and then it was just whoever after that picked up on it and did their own threat based on the other person's bomb. It was like, that was real, but this is bullshit.
Right.
It's like, I'm scared of that. And then whatever, they threw an empty shoebox, or someone threw a shoebox over it's like, this is a bunch of nonsense over nothing.
Right.
Maybe it was serious, I don't know, but I didn't take it too seriously.
For me, as
a bunch of fucking hype over nothing.
Right. As a fan, as a teenager, I remember reading the magazine. Of course, it scares me up to death. It's like, don't do that, please, don't. Don't blow up my band that I like. It's like,
yeah, like I said, who knows how real it was. I don't know. I mean, something did get blown up, so it was pretty real, I guess.
Right.
I just tried not to worry about it too much.
Oh, I understand. I just thought I'd ask just because it was something that always confused me reading it as a fan. I was like, what? You know, that's pre-internet. But Servants of the Light. Love that album.
Yeah. That was one where I was like, you know what, let's re-tech it back up a little bit, you know. Break up the speed, a little more technical, time signature-y shit, and try and, like, a little more tech, but not overly technical, just enough, you know, where it appears technical.
Right.
But
it's a fun record.
It is, sure. That's good songs. We still do a lot of the songs from that live, and people still eat it up, you know.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
We say we're doing Serpents of the Live. People know the lyrics. They're right there for every second of it.
It was, I don't know, you all just sandblasted through those first few records and just kept going, but...
and yeah, that one had a stripped-down sound. Like, we tried to get, you know, Cross had a good sound. We didn't have as great luck with productions in those days.
Where did y'all record Serpents?
It was all at Morrisound up to that point. Yeah. Anyway, Scott Burns come out of retirement because he was already done working at Morrisound, and he kind of had lost patience with the Hoffmans and their guitar tone.
Understand.
So he was like, you know what? If you think that sounds good, great. There's your guitar tone. Good for you. That's why it's like, sounds like a transistor, razor, fucking, whatever the fucking thing sounds like, you know?
That's great.
So that's what I can remember about that one, too.
Incinerate Him.
Incinerate Him, yeah. That was the first record without Scott, where we started working with Jim. Actually, we had done When Satan Lives with Jim.
The live record.
The live record. So that was our introduction to him. So that's when we agreed to do the next record, Incinerate Him, with him. That was cool. He had a neat approach to tracking the guitars, which we had never done before. He had blended two raw sounds. So I remember the guys were in there recording with just guitar tones that they hated and could barely play to, you know. So they didn't enjoy that, but when he mixed it, it came out all right, I guess. And the drums, you know, I just remember he was like kind of shocked that I wasn't playing to a click. He was like, you got pretty good timing. You sure you're not on a click? Or he wanted to go to a click? Or, I don't know, whatever. But I wasn't on a click yet.
That's amazing. So that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, no.
And on that record, did you all do a lot of touring for that record?
We did. We had kicked touring into high gear. You know, we were touring 6 months a year at that point. And yeah, so that.
And then we'll go.
I don't know. You know, it's just pretty good record.
That's a standout track. I remember.
Yeah, Bible Masher. That's right. You know, one of those songs got played on the Sopranos soundtrack.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was The Gift That Keeps on Giving.
I didn't know.
There was a little bit in the background, like during some argument Tony Soprano was having with someone. Like, you can hear that in the background. Shut up over there! He's banging on the wall.
Was somebody a fan on the show and played you on?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's amazing.
It's usually how it happens. So yeah, that was cool. Yeah, so that was a boost for that record. It was helpful, and that's when I remember Monty sent us an email, and it was 2001 or 2002, whatever. He's like, and everyone said death metal was dead. Like, they had written us off. They were into Slipknot. He could give a shit. It's like, no, Sopranos.
Oh, at Roadrunner.
Yeah, at Roadrunner. But no, Sopranos dug us up, so that was cool.
And then in Torment in Hell.
Torment in Hell, yeah, that was our last record. Like I said, we were fully on the back burner with Roadrunner. They didn't care about us. They gave us a budget to record the record with. It was like $6,000. So we tried to get it done as fast and as quick and as cheaply as possible since we were on the outs with them.
Right. Well, that's understandable. You know, I remember growing up, everything was on Road Racer, then Road Run, whatever, King Diamond, you guys, Typo Negative, everything I remember listening to as a kid, Spolter, all that, Obituary, all those bands.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's Nickelback, the label.
That's right. They made all this money and started, you know, first they were about underground bands, and then it became about sales. And then, you know, once you get some sales and the taste of the money, and it grows the company, and then they just want to keep growing. They're looking for hits now. I think Typo Negative was their first million-selling band. They were like, wow, this is awesome.
Right.
They're like, let's do more of this. And they started searching for the next whatever,
and then flushed all the bands that had made him money.
Yeah, then we were shit tanked, and
around the same time, I guess Blue Grape went in the toilet too. I remember buying all my stuff from them.
Blue Grape, I think, they were just always a shitty merch company that took advantage of the bands.
That sounds about right.
Hey, we got both great lighters, and like I said, they, I think, just got bought out by a parent company, so they did well. They built that company up and sold it for big money.
Yeah, and I noticed it. This is something I always thought was interesting, as a fan buying stuff still, like your all stuff or whatever.
Taste this shit, brother. You just want some?
Oh, no, we're good. There you go. I appreciate it, Steve.
There you go. That's good shit, man. Fucking tasty.
But that, it was like Def Jam owned it, Warner Brothers owned it. It seemed like all that stuff happened later. Some if they couldn't keep owners or whatever.
Metal exploded, all over everyone's faces.
Right. Yeah. Did you all do any touring for In Torment in Hell?
We did a run or something. We always toured pretty consistently, at least once a year. So whether it was for, I know we did some touring and like maybe for that record, but didn't play any of the songs from the record. But we just toured for the fuck of it.
That makes sense.
It's like no one was really into it. We weren't into it, no one cared. But we still wanted to tour, and we were still getting offers. So fuck it.
Yeah, why not? And then we'll jump to, now, you want to talk just briefly go into Earache, and then Scars of the Crucifix, which I love that record.
Yeah, Scars of the Crucifix.
It's nasty. I saw you all here, at Masquerade, with Behemoth, who wasn't popular then, and Amon Amarth, who wasn't popular then. That was the first time I ever met you.
That's right, over at the Masquerade.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that tour. That was the coalition of destroying fucking...
There was somebody else on that bill, I don't remember who it was, but...
Vehemence, or fucking the guy who throws up milk or something?
Yeah, it was somebody, yeah.
Exhumed?
Was it them? I don't know. I just remember Behemoth and Amon Amarth were on that bill in front of you guys.
We had toured with Behemoth like 4 times already in Europe.
Right.
So yeah, we got to know them well over the years.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That was just like a mediocre black metal band. And then I got Infernus on the drums and it was like
that was the orbited them. Yeah, Scars is a great record. And I love the production on that. I thought Jim did a great job on that.
Scars, like I said, when we got went over to Earache, it was kind of because Roadrunner was shitting on us, and Earache wanted us and treated us good, so it was exciting. Brought the band back together, got us excited about it again, so it was kind of, good jolt we needed. So the record came out pretty good. They got us a producer, Neil Kernan. We were all into it. Yeah, sure, and he was a good guy. He's a great guy. Didn't work out too great between him and Glenn, though.
Oh, really?
Not that they don't like each other. They just didn't really work that closely together.
Real quick before I keep going, I was always surprised, and I wanted to ask you about this just because I'm a big fan of his work. I know he's just everywhere, but whatever. I'm surprised you all never worked with Eric Rutan.
Yes, it's just
I love his production, and I love your all's music. And
a lot of people were going to him in the time, and we always tried to do not what everyone is doing. But I think now that people are kind of going elsewhere, now we're going to go to Rutan.
I think I would love to hear it because you're all so amazing.
We're definitely going to do a record with Rutan before we get too old, and we've known him for many years, and he's almost was taking it personally. Like, why haven't you come done a record with me, dude? So yeah, I definitely am going to go. Maybe the next one.
Oh shit, that'd be so amazing.
It would.
And then Stench of Redemption. I love that record.
Yeah, that was a good record.
You got the Hoffmans going out. You got Jack.
That's right. That was important for that because the Hoffmans were out, and we had to establish ourselves as the core of the band, still living on without them. Fuck them, and that it was even better. It could be better without them instead of in Torment and Hell. You get this.
Stench of Redemption's a great album.
I thought so.
I love the cover art. I love it track for track. It's great. I love the DVD. I bought the DVD.
The Doomsday LA. Right?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that was a good record. I enjoyed it. I wrote all of that one.
That seriously is a really good record. It really, all of it.
I thought so.
I love that album. It's great. And Corey, my co-host, is going to ship, and I tell him that you wrote all of Once Upon the Cross. He's going to shit an egg roll. Because that's his favorite album.
Once Upon the Cross, all of Serpents, like I said, except for one song on each.
Wow.
All across, all the Serpents. about 6 songs on Scars, all of Stench.
Stench is great.
And the next one was Till Death, all of that one. I even tracked that one on guitars.
Interesting. I just listened to that the other day. I like that record.
I do too.
It's an interesting record.
It is interesting.
You get your vote for Glenn for president patch.
It was just under, everyone was kind of off on a little personal problem tangents. Glenn was not really paying much attention to the band. He's going through a bad divorce or whatever, or some problem. And then whoever the guitar guys were totally uninterested, I was the only one working on the thing, so we didn't get any really help with the writing, no opinions, so I just fucking did it. When it come time to record it, it's like no one knew it, so I just did it all. Did the drums, did the guitars, and, Glenn had written some lyrics for it, so he came in and did the vocals. And I got the guys to come do some leads, and then I even did a couple leads too, because just first there was more space to fill, and no one gave a fuck. It's like, I give a fuck. I wanted to sound, So anyway,
that's
did
amazing.
The record, and so that's why it kind of sounds like just a little under. It could have been better, The potential was there. It could have been great if everyone had got together and tried to make it great, but no one fucking cared. So I kind of got under the radar.
It's good.
But I thought the material, that's a heavy riff. That could have been some of our greatest shit.
The first track is interesting too. The intro to the record. It's I don't know. I liked it. It was a different.
Oh yeah, that's right. The whole intro thing that was slow. Yeah, right. I dug that, dude.
I thought so. It was awesome.
Right. It was fucking eerie.
I was like, it is. It was really cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then Stench and Till Death Do Us Part. You a lot of touring for both of those, I'm sure.
What's that?
A lot of touring for both those records for Stench and
yeah. Gosh, we did. The
Stench. I know I saw you on that tour. I don't know if I saw you on Till Death Do Us Part or not.
We tried to tour at least 2 runs for each record, sometimes 3. For this record, this is our 4th run in the U.S. for this record.
This is a big tour.
So good,
Yeah, it's great.
And it's just us killing time in between records.
It's awesome.
So good.
And then we'll jump to Hell with God. That's odd. Man, that's an interesting record.
Hell with God, yeah, there's another one.
Cheers.
Hey, how you doing?
It's a very interesting record.
It was an interesting process making it. That's what I remember. It was our first one going with Mark Lewis over there at Audio Hammer there.
And y'all used him before. That was popular to use him.
Well, yeah, we had used him for the Order of Eniad sessions with me and Kevy Metal.
I love that stuff, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I really do.
Thank you.
That
was fun stuff to write. Yeah. So anyway, we went over there and. Yeah, it was fun to work, but I remember when we went and recorded all the music, and it was like 40 minutes, and then gave it to Glenn, and he was like, I really don't like this stuff. I was like, what? She told me before I recorded it. So it's like we went and rewrote some of the stuff, and you salvaged most of it and got the record out of it. That we did. And I still have the recorded versions of it, the extended different versions that I thought were awesome, which I still do. Break them out someday.
I like that record.
It's still a pretty good record. There's good chops and good hooks, and a couple of good catchy songs and beats and parts. There was something that I think is cool. That's why I write it, because I thought it was cool.
Now, did you write all of that one as well?
I wrote all of that one as well.
That record. The only thing that
no, I initially wrote it, and then when we went back and redid it, then Jack added some parts and a couple of songs and someone else, maybe whatever if I can. But yeah, it ended up being I had about 5 songs on there and a couple of combos.
It's great. I mean, I saw you on tour. It was you guys in Pathology, I believe. I tried pulling it out. I can't remember who else was on that bill. Up in Kentucky. So
I don't remember.
That's the only I remember Pathology because I know I missed a couple bands.
I remember the name Pathology. I know we toured them.
Yeah, those guys were fun. But
yeah.
I like that record. That was your first with Century Media too. Hell with God.
That's right. Yeah, they were cool. They gave us a big push. I remember they did some double gatefold album sleeves and cool stuff record companies are supposed to do.
They should promote it.
Put your stuff out. So that's fun. Yeah.
It's a great...
Good set, guys.
It's a great record.
Thank you.
And then we'll go to In the Minds of Evil.
In the Minds of Evil, yeah. That's pretty good.
And now, at this point, and I wanted to I'm backtracking a little bit. Kevin was on and off with you guys, right?
He had been filling in touring. But we hadn't decided to use him for a record yet because we had still.
That was in and out when Ralph was.
Ralph was in and out, and then we decided to get rid of Ralph. But then we used him for another record or something because we just didn't have anyone else.
Because he was on Tale of God,
leads.
right? Yeah,
that's right. And so I was like, let's just bring him in one more session of leads, and then sayonara. And then, but because it was kind of like we were biding our time because we knew we wanted to use Kevy, but his leads were just not Ralph. Who is?
That's understandable.
So I was like, take this time, Kevin, and start practicing your ass off on leads because that's where we're going to need you to, fill in a lot. So that gave him about 2 years because he had never given a shit about leads. He was always a rhythm player and a writer was his focus, and writing guitar riffs and lyrics. So I was like, he never gave a shit about leads. So he did the best he could, and but that's half the reason why we now have Mark in there, so someone can step up to the plate with the leads. It's like doing Homage for Satan is great, but then doing the lead totally half-ass and fake is not cool. It's like he was trying to have some realism and bring that song to life like we remember it. So get a guy who can play the fucking thing.
I love it as a Monstrosity fan. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, so it's like, so that's good. At least bring the song back to life, technically across the board.
What happened? See, the Jack thing was sudden to me. He was gone.
Well, yeah, Jack is
a fan, I was just
very
kind of like, okay.
Well, Jack's a good guy.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. He was just I don't know, a little distant. So just kind of left one day, never came back.
Well, I mean, Mark, that's awesome. I think you guys have up the ante with him. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's a killer player. And
he's a killer player. So yeah,
got the hometown, get the Monstrosity and DSI.
Yeah, we like having hometown guys. There's nothing we have to fly in or deal with some out of town scheduling and all this. It's like just get a local guy. There's a million of them. They're all pretty good.
But now Kevin, I think Kevin's great. I really do.
Kevin
and the
great.
Last record, man, when I heard that the first time, I had to listen to it, and it's one of those, I listened to it so many times, like, this is great. Like, every track on it's great. The cover art's interesting, and I like it.
In the Mind, you mean?
Yes, it's a cool record, man. It's fun. It's different. It's got a lot of stuff going on in it, and I dig it.
I agree. I do think it was a good record. I enjoyed the production and the drums. Remember, I had a dislocated shoulder when I was tracking the drums.
Really?
Yeah, so that sucked. Remember, it hurt.
I would have to. I don't know how you do it.
Remember, there was this one fill in one of the songs in the middle. It was like a big hitting both Chinas at the kick drums, like a kick drum fill on the Chinas. Brr, brr, like a fill. Remember, I was already in pain tracking it, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. And I went for it, and I was like... and I did it, and I was like, ow, after I'm playing. I was like, ow.
Now, did y'all record that with Jim?
No, we did that with Jason. Which is Audio Hammer again, but the other guy. Sukov, that's right. That's who we're doing the current record with.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice, okay.
Like I said, the rhythm tracks are done, recorded, and we're just waiting to finish up vocals and leads and mix and shit. That's why
y'all have a bunch of songs for it, or?
Yeah, or 12, 13,
that's gonna be awesome.
Like
I'm excited, because, I don't know, the last record, I just want to touch on it again for a second. It's one of those things, and then I heard the songs live, and it really, those songs sound good live.
They do.
Because one's, it's just, I don't know, and then you're back there just
we're playing that one on this tour, We were doing more, we're kind of weaning those songs out of the set somehow, getting ready for, bring back a couple of older ones. We're going to try and bring back Mephistopheles.
Really?
Tighten it up a little bit.
Nice.
And get ready to start bringing the next record songs into the set. But, yeah, I mean, for the most part, we try and make all the songs sound good live, really, especially when Mark comes into the band or whoever. You reteach him, gives us a chance to go over the parts, make sure they're all right, articulate them properly, playing, and make everyone match up. And just make the song sound great. Don't rush them, but don't let them drag either,
Does Glenn still do lyrics on stuff, or does he?
Yeah. He does all the lyrics. That's why it's kind of a problem, because sometimes if he gets burnt on writing lyrics, it's like we got to wait for him.
I thought he was like passing.
Wait for him to get motivated to write and finish. That's kind of where we are now. He's like, waiting for him to actually write stuff. So, but yeah, it's a problem when he's the sole writer. He's kind of just waiting for him to finish.
Right. I mean, I'm excited to hear the new record. Everybody will be excited to hear that there's a new
I am
Deicide
too. It's going to be heavy, for sure.
Any idea on next year?
Maybe by hopefully this year. If you get out, it's still early.
Be exciting. There's been some good records this year, so I think if you guys have a new record, that's
it wouldn't be till later in the year,
last
Christmas
quarter.
maybe. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Sure.
It's a good time for a Deicide
But
record.
it'd be a good shot. We'll see what we can do.
But yeah, that's exciting, and hopefully, like I said, I just was, like I said, the last record. When I got it, I didn't know what I thought of it, and then the more I listened to it, I don't know, it's interesting. I like that record. I really do. It's almost like, I don't know, you and Kevin, I think, play well together, and then having him
I think so too. He's a good writer.
He is. He's a really interesting song. That's what I was telling my friend. I was like, he's interesting.
He's got a good style, and he's heavy and good picking, and he grew up a Deicide fan, so he was influenced by our things. Influenced by our writing, helped him writing, so when we use him for our writing, it kind of belongs
it
already,
makes sense. It sounds so
yeah,
good.
It does. So it's a good fit, and he's a good guy, and he's good to work with.
That's exciting, and so we'll have the new Deicide coming there for you, everybody listening there, but yeah, so one other thing that we do on the podcast is we talk about horror movies. Are you a horror movie fan?
Not so much. I was big into horror movies, as a teenager and whatnot, the Texas Chainsaw 1 and 2, and
Exorcist.
The classic shit, but even at the time of Saw and this,
that's more we were into, is more the old shit.
I ain't really into it at that point. I was already out of it.
The old shit's the best shit. So.
Well, I guess. But so
that's awesome.
This is Steve Asheim from Deicide. You're listening to Dr. Vincent West, FANTASM Podcast. Listen to it. Turn it up.
That's awesome.
Play something.
Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Dubbing soon from Phantasm.
In a time of fear and suspicion,
you choose to admit your crimes before man and God?
His coming was foretold. Now, he is here.
You know the signs. You are bewitched.
He has the face of an angel.
Channel me a spirit.
The charm of the devil.
Hear me when I say he's evil. Evil absolute.
And the powers of a god. Satan also has one son.
For you are the first to have laid eyes upon the new Messiah.
Now, an enemy from his past.
Who appointed you executioner?
And a girl from the present.
Do you know what he's capable of?
Next time he's gonna kill me.
I'll not let him harm you.
Are the only hope for the future. This is the terrifying adventure that could set the world on fire. Warlock
Every year, hundreds of young people travel the country and disappear. God help those who get caught in the tourist trap. Tourist trap, where beautiful young people looking for excitement are tricked, terrorized, trapped.
Let go!
Tourist trap. Shock you can see. Terror you can feel. Heart-stopping suspense that makes this the nightmare that never ends. Something crazy's going on at the tourist trap. To see may shock you. It may frighten you more than you've ever been frightened before. Don't worry. It's only a maddening, horrifying nightmare. Or is it?
What are you gonna do?
Fire some flares. Did you give her the pills like I told you?
Maybe it's not a nightmare after all.
There's nothing up here.
Are they really alone? Or is there an unwelcome guest? Is this a nightmare? Or is it the fear we all have when we're alone in the dark? And if it's only a nightmare, why is everybody dead? Prepare yourself, because you will never want to be alone again. Prepare yourself for the Slayer.
There is something in the streets. Something in the shadows. Something in the dark that kills.
You're trying to tell me 2 kids did this?
Just got a statement from an eyewitness that said they saw the kids attack her.
Officer! Oh, thank God it's you.
The head was unstable and there was a sudden deceleration injury.
You think a cop did this?
Why not?
You automatically assume that it was a police officer instead of some lunatic son of a bitch dressed up like a cop.
He didn't kill the girl. He wanted a witness. He'll kill again. He enjoys killing.
He strikes without cause. Without mercy.
Who's he killing? Pushers? Hustlers?
Help me!
Innocent people.
Maniac cop?
He may be getting information from inside the department. That means he is one of us.
When the killer is a cop, there's danger in every badge.
You're not gonna get me.
Suspicion in every uniform.
Since when is my personal life any of your business?
Since your wife was found dead in a motel room.
When a cop turns killer, no one is safe.
See a cop, you crossed to the other side of the street.
He'll find you wherever you are.
Bye, squad.
He'll destroy you, whoever you are.
You broke out of your cell, you killed them all.
It wasn't me, it was somebody else. I didn't do any of this.
Now they think they got the guilty man, so you'll be free to get to the mayor and the commissioner.
Reason cannot stop him. Bullets cannot kill him. This is one maniac you'll have to face alone or die. The choice is yours. You can fight him. Remain silent forever. Starring Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead, Maniac Cop.
Good evening, Walnut Lake shoppers.
It's closing time.
The store will be closing in 15 minutes.
But the night crew still has work to do.
God, we're gonna get in so much trouble.
Because there's one last customer who isn't satisfied.
No, this creep keeps calling her. He's driving us nuts. Leave me alone.
He wants to slash their prices.
Who's there?
He wants to cut their inventory.
You're crazy!
He wants to chop until they all drop.
I saw him kill Linda.
And now, he's turning their retail store...
There's gonna be one more killing here tonight.
...into a wholesale slaughterhouse. From the producers of Evil Dead 2 and Pulp Fiction comes a new chapter in terror. Bruce Campbell, Ted Raimi, Renee Estevez, and Sam Raimi in Intruder, a new dimension in terror.
I'm just crazy about this store.